go now. Batman scoop on the mic, mixing the mix on the wheels of steel. This is what I was fucking born to do. Six, let's go. From the top, let's go.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Behind Spawn Doors, our prediction section. Before we jump into those things, we'll take a look at our power rankings. But before we even do that, we'll take a look at who's joining us today. If you joined us last week or 2 weeks ago, actually, load shedding kind of threw a spanner in the works, unfortunately, but we are back. We will be going ahead with the second and final weekend of the ATK Champs. But we'll start from left to right here, or at least on my screen is left to right. I have no idea what it looks like on your guys' stream. We'll start with you, Peach. Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm really glad to be back here again just before the weekend. Unfortunately, with the whole delays and everything going through. Blue, I can hear you laughing there. Anyways, I'm really happy to be back, and I can't wait to make some more people mold in the chat today.
Oh yeah, that's going to be exciting. No, we'll get into that. Miru, welcome back as well.
Yeah, no, good to be here still. The newbie of the cast team. It's been some fun times. I'm excited for this weekend though. Yeah, I'm excited to see some real high quality Overwatch and hopefully some more C9s.
Oh man,
a lovely towel you have in the background, by the way.
Yeah, great towel. Well, I was going to say something to you, Miro. Miro, you're going to be very busy tomorrow. We're going to hear a lot from you then. So maybe you should rest your voice today. But, I mean, you analyst guys, you got it easy, man. You just have to fill in the gaps. Play-by-play doing all the hard work. Blur, speaking of analysts, you are joining us here, or we at least this visage of you. Welcome.
Hello. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not enough USB ports on this laptop for a camera. So
yeah, your computer exploded this week, eh?
Yeah, my motherboard just died, and I tried a whole bunch of stuff, and thankfully the community came in clutch, and that'll be coming next week. But yeah.
Okay, so we'll come up with some plans, etc., for the cast tomorrow. But for now, we've just got a pic of your face. Last and certainly not least, it's Mr. Defect back once again on broadcast. How's it going?
Good. I'm kind of hungry for those nuggets that Babs owes me. So.
Remind us again what that was for.
I believe it was the 2CP game, 2CP versus RQ.
Oof.
Or was it?
TSG.
Yeah. TSG.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
And what had 10 McNuggets, I was on the 2CP side, and they cleaned up 3-1. They fed Defect, but Defect's still hungry.
You'll have to make some more bets then at Bab's expense. But hopefully after today, our predictions will set you guys straight and ready for the action that starts tomorrow. So to get started here, we're just going to take a quick squiz at our predictions from last week, or our power rankings rather, and see how right we got. We won't spend too long on that. We'll just make 1 or 2 quick edits. So looking at this one, guys, let's just have a quick look. I think everything is fine all the way up until we get to Vanguard, and that's when question marks start to be asked. So we look at Vanguard and we look at Leiden. Now, those two teams, thankfully, played each other directly, and the result was not what we predicted last week. So are we all in favor of swapping those two teams around at least, or mixing them up with Overclock?
Let's give a preview for those who were playing at the time or couldn't tune in. What was the result here, Son? What would you describe that game as?
I would describe it as Leiden showing up in a way that we perhaps hadn't predicted. I think we were expecting Vanguard to be the stronger of the two teams, but on the day, Leiden just looked so much more well put together. We always ask questions of Leiden about how they use their substitutions and what squad they're going to show up with in terms of personnel. And on Saturday it was, they showed up with a very well put together squad, of course, on the back of Kiri's strong hit scan play, and really just dominated. And Vanguard looked a little bit lost, it has to be said. We saw some funny double shield cheese coming. I think Miru had a really, let's say, good time breaking that one down, but they looked not nearly as well put together as Leiden did. And I think that 3-1 victory really showed the relative strength of Leiden when compared to Vanguard.
Yeah, no, I agree. Thank you. So in light of this, we need to fix our power rankings because they were wrong, and we just cannot have that.
So we're just going to swap them. You think Leiden is better than Overclock based on what we saw from those two teams?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's fair to compare them considering we didn't see them play up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I think based on what we were considering the power rankings to be and the evidence provided, it's only fair that we swap Leiden and Vanguard, because we have to say that there's a fair kind of like gap between the two. I'm not sure if Overclocked would beat Vanguard. I'm not sure if Overclocked would beat Leiden. I'm not sure if either would beat Overclocked. So I think it's a very there's a reason they're all in a tier together. They're very much similarly like lined up teams. But I think just giving Leiden the benefit of the doubt here is something that I think they're owed.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
now,
to be
Peach,
fair, they did
there's
set
a
up.
pretty decent
Yeah.
chance, before you jump in, there's a pretty decent chance you guys actually end up playing Leiden in the bracket stage.
If we win against Kitsune and Leiden wins against whoever their team is, then
no,
we're
if they
going
lose
to-
against 2CP, yeah.
Oh, sorry, if they lose against 2CP, sorry, they're in the upper bracket. If they lose against 2CP, and let's be honest, in all fairness here,
We'll come to that. Don't spoil anything just yet.
yeah, sorry. Well,
Jeez, guy.
Okay, sorry.
Spoilers.
getting a bit ahead of myself there. But yeah, I mean, I've got. I know the last time I said this, you know, I kind of got worried for saying it, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at that match with a little bit of confidence.
Okay,
little
so
bit.
you guys think you'll come out on top of that?
I didn't say that. I just said we're looking at the match with confidence.
I don't know, Peach. That sounded like
Look,
100% confirmation to me.
According
Yeah.
to the power rankings, there is a tier break between them. So
I mean,
I'll give them
Who
that.
between Overclocked and Leiden?
And Kitsune.
Oh no, but yeah, Overclock will beat Kitsune. I don't think that's a
for
question
sure.
mark.
That's not an question.
No offense to Kitsune, but yeah, like you said, there's a tier break between them.
Just beware the dive rat.
Yes.
So I think okay, last question then for this little bracket. Overclocked over Leiden or not?
Yeah.
I'd rate it. But I think Leiden I think on current results, Leiden deserve the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But in a match, I would be like, considering that Overclock probably have a good chance.
Yeah,
So
look,
let's just
I
sorry.
think for
defect.
our predictions, I'm going to jump in. I think for our
Okay, okay.
predictions, hold my beer, I'm going in. Look, for our predictions, I think we estimated Vanguard a bit higher than they were, but I think we also underestimated Leiden a bit lower than they were. I don't think it's just a case of Vanguard dropping the ball or Leiden like showing up superpowered. I think it's like a bit of give and take. So in this, I think it is fair to say, I think Overclock should maybe stay where they are and maybe Leiden above, but yeah.
I suppose that all depends on results.
Look, yeah, always prove us wrong. We are legendarily known to be very accurate all the time.
I mean, only one
these
mistake
were
so far.
surprisingly close. Yeah.
Yeah. Miru, any thoughts from you about Leiden versus Overclocked?
You know, I just want that boy outside. He needs to, you know,
Mm.
he needs to come through for Overclock, whoop it out, show him how big it is, and you know, just.
Jeez, okay.
My thing is like when I'm looking at the difference, I think that Overclocked has a lot more sort of like pop-off potential with the players that they have, but it seems like when we watch the Leiden games, they were like so much more coordinated than we expected them to be.
Yeah.
And so they sort of just won fights out just by playing smarter and playing like to their strengths. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Overclocked
think-
will surprise us.
Yeah, I think also just based on the evidence of the matches we've seen this weekend, Overclocked, you know, like the match versus Evo didn't look particularly clinical and didn't look like there was a lot of pop-up potential there.
Yeah.
So on
Evo,
current evidence, you maybe just give it to Leiden just based on the fact that they had a good cast of game and Overclocked didn't. Unfortunately, sorry, Peach.
Yeah,
it's
no, I agree with that.
I accept it.
I agree. So I think the way it is now, Leiden 8, Overclock 9, Vanguard 10 is perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
There's a question around Evo and Rage Quit if we just scroll up a little bit here, but I don't think we can actually give too much info on that. I don't think we've got enough to actually make any changes here. The last
I think they're
thing.
quite close. 6.9
Say again?
and I think 6.9 and 7. I think they're quite close. I'd love to see them play. I'd love to see them prove us wrong. Just be like a 3-0 sweep one way. It's not even close. But I think from what we know, it looks quite close. Looks like it'll be a banger of a match if we get it casted.
If it
Somebody in
happens.
sorry to interrupt. Somebody in chat was asking what does the camera mean. I believe it means that the team has been casted over the weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, those are teams that we got to
Yeah,
look
we've
at. We
watched.
actually have
Yeah.
recent evidence of their play. So Evo got beat who did they beat? They beat Overclocked, as we just mentioned, and Rage Quit got absolutely donkeyed by OG, who are looking scary as hell.
Oh yes.
So that was the next question mark. Just looking back at what we spoke about 2 weeks ago, we had a bit of a debate over whether OG and 2CP matched up against each other, or rather how they matched up against each other, and which of those two teams kind of comes out on top. Now, based on what we saw this weekend, what are we thinking? I'll throw my hat in the ring first. OG looked scary as hell. 2CP, not quite as clinical. So
Look.
I'm actually more on the side of OG than I was last week.
Yes, I'll agree. OG for life. Where's my? Hey, there we go. But no, look, 2CP has always had like stellar players, and like we said, it's a newish roster. For those who don't know, they picked up quite a few players before coming into the finals. But to have like players like Aquatic, who is just legendary, and Silencio as well, who took a bit of a break from Overwatch, but was legendary and came back looking just as strong as he was, like if not stronger. And even their backline, they have a collection of just high tier supports. But they just OG looked like a machine. OG looked like an AI controlling all the players at once. Because they were just tight. Like they were in squads. They were peeling it on cue. It was like it was all dress rehearsed. It was like a play.
And that's the consistency that we talk about so much.
Yeah.
That's
And the mechanical skills aren't slouches. Like you can put on Diablo next to Aquatic and say like this is a close matchup. It's not like there's miles of difference. So yeah, no, I think it'll be a good match to watch. But I definitely think that synergy that OG somehow has it's insane. And I think that'll put them over the edge.
Sorry, Miru, thoughts on that matchup as well? Oh, hello.
I think people. I think you know where I'm gonna side to. You know. I can care less for an wild machine, honestly. Like if a player can decimate a team almost single-handedly with the potential that he has, then I put my money on the dark horse, which clearly is definitely 2CP between the two teams here. So, you know, I'm for 2CP, and I think
he's not changing his song from.
I'm not changing my song. I no damn about changing my song. I put my money on them, bro. You can give me a kiss on the mouth, dog. Honestly, like I've got 2CP on my back. That's
How do you feel about putting 10 McNuggets on the line there?
Wait, you want me to PayPal you? You want me to PayPal you the jalapeno sauce, dog?
You guys can figure it out.
Yeah, we're making it happen. I'll sub to your Twitch.
Exactly. Yeah.
That works.
Exactly. So that was the last question. Now I'm gonna throw one more on top of the power rankings here before we move on. Beastie Boys versus OG. Now, obviously, Beastie Boys, big old fat question mark. In fact, there shouldn't be a 2 next to their name. There should be a question mark. Because we just don't know what Beastie Boys is going to show up. But I think Beastie Boys at their worst, from what we saw last week, were still going to finish second. Now, having seen OG look so well-oiled, as Defect put it, do we think there's a chance that OG can really show up in that matchup and do something special there? Or do you think even kind of Beastie Boys at its least well-oiled can take that matchup? Let's start with Blur. He didn't respond to the last one.
I think Beastie Boys is a weird team to come up against because it's not really. They're going to be playing a slightly off-brand of Overwatch if we go what we've seen from them in the past. So, a well-oiled machine is good at interacting with in a space where you're running up against another machine of some type. You know, you're expecting them to run their dive comp at you. You're expecting them to run their kind of Winston Zaya or their bunker or their brawl or whatever. But when you're dealing with, you know, snipers popping off from halfway across the map at you while there's a Roadhog in your backline, you know, it can kind of muddy the waters a little bit in terms of how you kind of approach that and how you kind of deal with it. You know, they're playing a macro that I don't think a lot of teams understand, and I'm not entirely sure they do either. But you know, giving them the benefit of the doubt. If they're good at what they do and they know what they're doing and they are able to kind of sow a little bit of discord in the ranks of OG, I think it puts them in a position where they can really like just take that game uncontested. But if OG are able to kind of find answers to the questions that Beastie Boys put in their face, it could be a bit closer. But I think just because of the kind of tier of player we're talking about in the Beastie Boys roster, it's just such a dominant roster Like it's a team I'd love to see succeed because there's so many just fantastic players on that roster that have the potential to do so well. And I really would love to see them challenging the likes of ATK. I think they're way closer to ATK than they are to the three below them.
Objection, Your Honor. No,
I don't know which one means you can talk.
ATK simp incoming.
OG simp. I'm OG simping now.
Okay.
Look, no, I don't think Beastie Boys are the best they've been this year. I think they're not at their highest form. Caveat as well as their lowest form. You said like the weakest we've seen them has been very scattered. Like so yeah, I think. Especially with the question mark on the supports, I think this meta with the lack of shields and things like Ana nades and then like right clicks and things like that are coming to the forefront of the game. Like supports have a bigger impact than they've ever had. It's not just like the Mercy needs to stay alive or Lucio needs to speed on Q and not feed into the backline. Like this, we're in a supports meta in my opinion, and the supports in Beastie Boys is by far their lowest rank. Like they have plat supports, don't they? Like one of their supports I think is plat and the other was diamond.
Well, who is it? Aviator and Hamzo. Or is that the support?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was I believe I'm speaking under correction. Please correct me, guys, in the chat if I'm wrong. But I believe that they were like in that sort of tier level, and they're going up against like the Ninja, who is one of the better supports in the country. So yeah, and that also a caveat, like the Roadhog is nerfed. The nerf is live, and we're going to be playing on that patch. So the Severin ace in the hole, like I'm just going to hook your whole team. Like every on cooldown, I'm going to kill a person every 8 seconds. That's not the case necessarily anymore. So we're going.
It's still pretty consistent, the combo, isn't it?
It's also he's playing the Roadhog that he's been playing all year again, basically.
Yeah, even when
a little bit weaker because of the differences, but the shotgun spread changes are also in that, which might make it a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, look, I still don't think it's favored for OG, but I think it's closer than it ever was. I think with the meta shakeup, with the lack of like the supports question mark, I think OG has a bigger chance than they've had, and I don't think I think BC Boys are worse than they were last patch. And are worse than they looked at, like, I think at the start of the tournament was maybe when they looked the best. When they had their sort of full roster and didn't have visions on tank, which he is still one of the best tanks, but, you know, it's not his main role. And I know he was picking up, like, Reinhardt's and main tanks, but now main tank's not even meta, so he has to swap roles again, which, if anyone can do it, it's probably good. But, like, you have to account for, like, things like that, where their best players are not firing on all cylinders, and their worst players are now having to be put in the spotlight to shine up against players like the Ninja in this matchup. Theoretical 1v1 that I've in my brain. So yeah, no, look, I still think you can't discount the just sheer horsepower of the players on Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
But I think it's closer than it was. It might still be a 3, but I'm hoping it's like a 3-1 or maybe even, you know, a Dark Horse upset or a map 5 or something like that. I think it's closer. I think the Beastie Boys are further away from ATK than they were when we did the previous.
Yeah, I'll be an ATK sim. Like I said last time, there's a whole tier break in between the two teams, first and second, in my humblest of opinions. But okay, let's not spend too much more time on the power rankings, and we can move on to our bracket predictions.
4-hour podcast. I'm ready. I'm not casting.
No, Defect, we've had this conversation before. Me and you would love that, but I don't think anybody else on planet Earth.
Just put it off. Just let the computer run. Go to bed and.
With a 50% zoom, and then just take it from here.
I'll take it from here, boy.
All right, so this is what the upper bracket looks like. We'll start there for now. These teams, of course, seeded in from the group stage. Really no surprises here. The only surprise result from that group stage was Leyden and Vanguard, which we've already spoken about. So we'll start here at the top, ATK versus RQ Odyssey. Any human being here want to say something stupid?
You wanna share your hatred for ATK? You wanna bite the hand that feeds you?
ATK is gonna slap them.
Okay. Miru, you have anything controversial to say?
It doesn't look like you have anything to say.
It's no.
Okay, so no.
It's a
there
no.
you go. So nothing to say about that matchup?
I like the people, you know, they're nice guys, but it's a no.
Oh, that's right. Mira is a sub for Archaeodyssey, so he has to say nice things at least. So that brings us on to our next matchup here, which is actually vaguely more fascinating, but I think still fairly one-sided based on what we've seen. Does anybody here have any justification for this not being a 3-0?
No, I think especially since you have a hit scan like Aquatic going up against the ace in the hole for Layden is Kiri, their hit scan. And I think hit scan versus hit scan, that's the role that shuts his other down the most. I think their like strength is the weakest it is against another like legendary Kaoza hit scan like Aquatic.
Yeah.
3-0. I don't think it'll be
Thank
close.
you very much.
Anybody else?
Nah, that's like I think they may win a few team fights, but I'd be very surprised if they're able to overcome 2CP on maps. There's just too much of a mechanical difference between the two teams.
Who's playing main tank? Supernova. Yeah, I think
Yeah, no, against
that's a
Storm.
bit of a whole.
Field day, bro. Oh.
Yeah, okay. I can't come up with any kind of solutions here. I think I agree with you. If you can win the 1v1 versus Kiri, then Layden are completely boned because that is really the linchpin of the whole squad at the moment, at least from the outside. So that moves us on to our next match. Blur, I know you thought this match might be vaguely interesting. Why did you think that?
I think it's interesting because it's one of those matches that you could see a team come in quite organized and maybe deliver something. I think TSG, we maybe didn't see their best form against 2CP. And they looked a little bit uncomfortable against 2CP and what they were playing. So maybe a week gone on now, had more time to practice it. They come up against Beastie Boys, who we really don't know a great deal about. Like, we don't know if they've come in serious. We don't know if they're doing the same stuff again.
I saw leaks in the chat, if I can give you some information, that said that Hamzo is mid-masters on and Aviator is mid-diamond on support. So, actually, they just gave the SRs. I hope they
didn't say whether it was support or
specify the role. Look, we know they're very proficient DPS players, but they've probably been grinding. Like, if you have Visions as your coach.
That's true.
But
captain, but yeah.
I suppose but the role I'm speaking of, like, he's going to coach them in sport. That's what I meant. But I could have phrased that better. Anyway.
So that moves us on. Sorry, we're not moving on yet. Beastie Boys, TSG. So what is your scoreline prediction there, Blair?
I think we could go for a 3-1 here. I think, I expect Beastie Boys to win it, but I think it might be a more interesting match because there's just a little bit of a clash of styles, and because TSG have a lot of really strong players on their side, and we've seen them play like a good brand of Overwatch over the year, a very nice kind of tightly together, really good synergy type of Overwatch, which I think might serve them well in a fixture like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that? 3-1?
3-1.
I still think it'll be a 3-0. As much as I just said the weaknesses of Beastie Boys and when we were doing the power rankings, I still don't think Team Mist is on the level yet to overcome the just mechanical skill barrier. But prove me wrong, guys.
Yeah, of course. Miru, you agree with Defect or with Blur here? In terms of 3-0 versus 3-1?
I'm with the 3-0, to be honest with you. I think they're gonna play sort of when you have someone like Visions to sort of help you sort of set the bar and like the sort of pace you're gonna play at. I think you can sit real pretty and comfortable, and I think that comfortability will just have them win fights out. I think pretty single-handedly and like one-sided. So it's a 3-0.
Last thoughts from you, Peach.
I mean, I want to kind of agree here with Blur. I feel like she could have a really strong start. Maybe taking the first map being, I think it's, what's it, Nepal? I think it's Nepal.
I believe so.
Yeah. I feel like, if they rock up with a really good mentality and warmed up, a good amount of time before, even though it's 9 a.m., and Beastie Boys just go in a little bit more unprepared, just being like, oh yeah, no, we're going to win this. I feel like TSG can definitely take the first map off, but thereafter, it's pretty much probably going to be a stomp, I feel. So I'll say 3-1 just for the sake of being on the side of Blur.
So I have the tiebreaker here. It's 3-0 Beastie Boys.
Hey, there we go.
Okay. So OG taking on Evo, the first of our actual question mark matches, but we just spoke at length about how good OG looked last week. And I'm kind of still in that OG. I'm pretty hot for OG right now, guys.
Yeah.
I think
No.
the squad is looking pretty stellar. So
Damn simps.
I'd have to
Yeah.
say
It's a 3-0 for Evo. Like, I
Yeah.
love Evo. I've been subbing
three
for them
over
all
OG.
year.
Yeah.
What did I say? Wait.
Evo.
You said 3 for Evo.
What? That's just me because I've been subbing for them all year.
Yeah.
But
Freudian slip.
I think it's for OG. It's a 3-0. They've been looking much better than we predicted, and we predicted that the match wouldn't be close way back.
Yeah.
Look, I think there's a better chance that TSG might take something off Beastie Boys.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's,
I don't agree with that.
Bit of a yikes for me, honestly. What? the
Miro,
hell?
let's hear from you about that then.
I think Black can attest. You putting up TSG with Evo against OG Kintsugi, like, nah, dude. Like, I think, like, when Peach made the point that they're gonna play first map and it's, you know, control map, like, that's raw mechanical outplay. Like, TSG are not getting even to touch the point. Like, they're not gonna see it. You know? if you're playing on a control map, like, against them, so, and with OG and with Evo, I think Evo also has their sort of comfortability and their dialed in comps that they'll like play consistently, and you know, and hopefully they can figure it out if it gets counted. But you know, I think it's closer that Evo can take a map off OG than TSG with Beastie, to be honest with you.
And you agree with that, Blur?
I think it's a score win for OG in the first map here. I think it's a 3-1 or a 3-2. I think
Yeah.
these teams, even when Evo were at their lowest, they took a map of OG,
Yeah.
and I think that
Let
kind
me
of trend.
check that. Because
Oh,
I
God.
believe they got 3-0'd many times.
They got 3-0 once, but when they were at their lowest, which was last leg, they still took a map.
We're pulling up the stats now to confirm this.
Yes, there's
That shit, dog.
gonna show us.
What is Bubbles saying in the chat here? What is this man? OG
Before we
over
get to the
80K.
stats, I feel like, you know, we're kind of moving into an era that might suit Evo's playstyle a lot more, to the point where I might actually predict it being a 3-2, especially if Evo are going in with enough prep, but still probably a 3, like the OG coming out on top. But then again, you know, OG have shown to be quite scary. But I think, you know, if you have someone break down really well and be properly prepared for what's about to come in that match, because especially since it's going to be broadcasted, you know, it's a very high stakes game nonetheless. And I feel like Evo can definitely put up a good performance. My question is whether it'll be enough to take down OG. So my actual prediction would be 3-2 in either direction, but I still have a lingering feeling that OG will come out on top.
3-2 in either direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You heard
pretty
me.
bold.
You heard me.
my
It is very
humble
bold.
opinion.
It
Cots
is
is
very
gonna have
bold.
some work.
All right.
I like it. It's a hot take.
Peach
We'll
nuggets.
talk
nuggets?
about that. Later.
I'm not betting
It's
any
just
nuggets.
farming
Man is so
against
hungry out
nobody.
here.
Okay, so the stats kind of go 50-50. OG's won every single time. Their most recent match was a 3-1. That was stage 2 of ATK. Stage 1 of ATK, 3-0 OG. RMG was a 3-2 OG. And in ATK calibration, it was a 3-0 for OG as well. So
Yeah.
2 of
No,
the 4 matches have been 3-0s.
Did they
The
have?
most recent one was a 3-1.
Was a 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in the meta that OG we were expecting to be strongest in, which is that double barrier, and the one that we expected Evo to be weakest in, which was,
Weakest,
you know, they were awful at double
precisely.
barrier.
Now, something that I thought was really cool about OG, because you know I'm like the biggest OG stan right now, is there. I'm reading off my notebook here for those. Professional. Their starting roster was Phoenix Cheers, Zoom, Erexon, and they played some funky-ish with the Hanzo and Phoenix Cheers on the Diva, and they absolutely minced Rage Quit. So that's a really cool layer that this team has, that they can bring in specialists on certain roles and do some interesting things with, which is something that no other team is really doing effectively. And I mean, it remains to be seen whether OG is doing it effectively, but it looked really, really well kind of put together against Rage Quit. So I'm excited to see if they do any more of that stuff. And then I think it's a question of dealing with Zoom and On Diablo and how they mix up with the dive together. That's going to be the key if Evo is going to take anything out of this match.
Yeah, look, I like that on control they subbed in their specialists who are just like Erexon, who's just extremely proficient on Hanzo, and he is just one of the strongest in the country. Look, and they just set him loose. But then, because it's control point, like you just slam the Barbie dolls together, and then the one that breaks first loses. When you get to other maps like payload maps or assault, you need to like have more of a swan dive. You have to be more coordinated in your striking, and that's when OG swapped up to this like on Diablo's rune dive with the slumpy in the backline type thing.
Yeah, that was scary.
That looked very extremely polished, very extremely, in fact. And I don't think OG Evo can match that. I think they'll the amount of coordination and sort of structure OG still has when they're sort of improvising on comps with Phoenix Tears on D.Va, and they just have their Hanzo in and they still look like really proficient, and then sort of hot swapping over to a very like meta oriented, very polished like a dive in this case. I think that they can do both. Get yourself a team that can do both, and that's OG in my mind. So I'm simping for OG tonight. I think they have what it takes. I was very impressed observing them in their other game. So.
Same. So let me just get scoreline predictions from all of you then, just one more time.
3-0 for OG.
Peach?
3-2 to OG.
Miro?
3-1, I suppose.
I
I want to
suppose.
say 3-2.
3-2. Screw it, 3-2.
Say it. Say the
Screw
3-2.
it.
Be naughty, and I want to do it.
Do it. Don't be a coward.
Be controversial.
Put it on. Put it on. Give it to me 3-2, boy. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's slap that 3-2 in there, Miru. Let's go.
Oh my
3-2
god.
as well. Let's go.
We got smashed here in the democracy,
Sit down.
unfortunately. Because I'm also with the 3-0. I think this team is gonna poop all over
Slap
those
them,
poor
yeah.
little attempts at futile.
Look, this is for me who's
resistance.
been playing for Evo this year. Playing.
Playing.
I'll always remember,
Playing.
and I'm calling out M here, Blur, you must tell her if she's not watching. She told me the first time these two teams played, right at the beginning of the year, that they were gonna dominate OG, and they got smashed 3-0 by OG.
Yeah, I remember that.
I always have that in the back of my mind.
I've had to sit through those VOD reviews. I've been there.
So it is a 3-2. We have decided. We've been outvoted. So you can put that one in there. And that leaves us with more upper bracket action. But let's drop down to the lower bracket here and get that first round done and dusted as well. Again, a case of three very straightforward matches with one with the vaguest of vague marks. We've got Risen taking on Overtime here. 3-0 for Risen.
Yep.
Question mark?
Not even a comparison there for me. I think they're going to be all over them.
Again, we put Overtime in our nothing to lose bracket, and they have to show up big time if they're going to beat Risen, because I think Risen is kind of top of that mid tier, or maybe
You know what?
middle of that mid tier.
I confused Overtime with Overclocked, and I was like, what? No.
I mean, either way.
Don't worry.
Smile.
Didn't they both rebrand at the same time as well, and then just?
Yeah.
Similar
We-
times, yeah.
Yeah, their announcement came out 3 days earlier than ours, but ours was in plan for a week before theirs. I think, maybe not. I don't know.
Jeez,
I'm not
Peach.
in plan.
Stealing their branding.
I'm sorry.
I'm not in clan. I'm here for when it was announced. That's how my brain works, and
Hey.
they're the same
We
thing.
we announced ours on our casted match in the playoffs against Odyssey. The second time.
Against Odyssey. The first
The second time.
time.
The first time? The first time, sorry. The first time.
You didn't play the second
We
time.
didn't play the
so
second
it's like-
time, right. That wasn't
know.
us. That wasn't us.
Jesus.
Right.
Not a-
I'm
not
not
a
even
great
playing
time
for
to
any
go
of these
into the-
teams, eh?
Not a great time to go into a new brand. Is the one match you're not favored to win.
Well,
It's fine.
it's the match where there's a lot of eyes on you, so it depends on what you want
Exactly.
out of
Fair
that
enough.
interaction.
Exactly.
So Overclock versus Kitsune. Let's stop mince words here. This is a 3-0 for Overclock.
Yeah.
INV taking on Rias Legion again. INV pretty favored here. Calypso, based on our power rankings, based on prevailing wisdom, everything suggests Calypso are the much stronger of these two teams.
3-8. I will cheer for you for always. Please take a nap. Just one.
Just one, please. Yeah, I
Are we
agree.
voting on this one? Is anyone going
No.
for the 3-1?
I want
don't
that 3-1.
believe.
We are
I want
not.
to believe.
I want to add a
don't
3-1.
Come on,
I want
Defect, put some
3-1.
nuggies on it.
I don't believe. Throwing a handful of nuggies cautiously to the wind is not.
Yeah. Like, I agree with you, obviously. I'd love to see Rias take some maps and even take a victory, not at the expense of Calypso perhaps, but I'd love to see these teams that haven't been performing that well or that are as new as Rias Legion is put up some good performances, but I think that's asking a lot of them under these circumstances. That brings us to our last match of the first round of the lower bracket. Vanguard taking on Cubs. Now, we've downgraded Vanguard quite significantly, I think, in our relative power ranking. Do you think they've now reached the level of Cubs? Let's just jump back into our power rankings quickly, Peach, if we can.
Yeah, they're only 3 above now.
So, yeah, they're only 3 above, but there is a pretty significant tier break between them, I think.
Yeah.
The teams of Calypso, Risen, Cubs, the Challenger, Hardstock crew is really not on the level of the gatekeepers of Prem as we described them.
Look, correct me if I'm wrong, but the scoreline was 3-0 for Leyden versus Vanguard, right?
3-1.
Yeah.
3-1.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it was 3-1 because Leyden are notoriously bad at Hanamura.
Oh, they just... that was
But that
an
thing,
experience.
that was weird. That was a weird match to watch. It didn't feel like Vanguard were in control. It just
No, it never felt like they should have won. But Leyden just let them win.
Yeah. So the question is, like, how far have Vanguard fallen in our estimation?
I also think it's worth noting that the thing they struggled against Leyden, which was a lot of time a strong sniper player, was Kiri on the Widowmaker or the Ashe a lot of the time. We talk about strong sniper players. Cubs is there. Cubs has got that carry. That when he take
Maybe the
really
strongest
take it.
player to team performance in terms of relative performances. As in, he's the strongest player on the weakest team, relatively speaking.
Yeah, but he's like peaked in GM, and everyone else on his team is like there's silvers on Cubs. So
Yeah.
they're between silver to plat for the rest of them, and he's like this. Peaked in GM, recently masters DPS. So it's a strong player that you have to be expecting a strong performance on in this type of game.
Yeah.
Is that enough for them to beat Vanguard? Vanguard didn't look particularly good against Leyden, I didn't think. They looked very disorganized. They ran some weird comps that just weren't running together.
Yeah.
They were just so inconsistent and just not ready for any fights, it seemed.
I think that's a good way to put it for me. Not ready for the meta. They really didn't seem like they had a good handle of what would be expected of them at this stage in terms of what they should be running and how they should be executing on that. We saw them bring out that double shield, which Miro almost lost his mind. Well, he did lose his mind at. And it worked exactly as well as we thought it would.
Miro had to take a Sunday off to recover from that match.
And the C9s on Blizzard World as well.
Oh dear me.
That was honestly
not
the
well,
most trashed here.
And it's your boys. It was 2 CP.
It'll be okay,
that ran it.
Miro.
Oh god, man. Yeah, pain. Just pain.
So let's jump back into the prediction thing there. I think we're still looking. I mean, it's pretty close, right? With the significant downside that Vanguard has in terms of dealing with the sniper, they're gonna have to learn how to deal with Minitech and his prowess on the kind of hit scan adjacent heroes, the Hanzo especially. But they have had a 2 weeks now to prepare. Now, whether they actually use that time to prepare remains to be seen. But let's get some hard predictions here. Peach, let's start with you. What do you think the scoreline is going to be?
Look, like I've got a feeling inside of me that says it's probably going to be a 3-0. Like just knowing what Vanguard can put up compared to what Cubs can put on overall team performance, I feel like Vanguard can just take the win, not necessarily with the most ease, but with like little to... Yeah, like they're not going to struggle too much. There might be like a couple of fights here and there that look very promising towards Cubs, but I think overall Vanguard will take it. But I've also got a part of me that wants to say 3-1 just because I believe the Cubs can step up, even if it's Mini breaking his back to do it. I feel like there's still a part in there where Cubs can take at least one map. So I'm going to end it with 3-1. That's what I'm going to predict.
3-1 to Vanguard.
To Vanguard, yes.
Perfect.
Look, that's the thing, right? That's how I would have put it as well. Like, it would have been a 3-0, but for one of the maps, Minitech's just gonna get 12 headshots in a row, and and it'll be a 3-1, like exactly like we saw in their previous match against
Risen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my prediction. It'll be a 3-1 for Cubs, and I'll take that one and savor it. I hope.
Mir, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say 3-2, and really make it so that it'll go down to like a final map sort of fight. But I mean, yeah, I think when it comes to consistency, Cubs isn't there. They don't have it, and you're banking so much on Mini to just literally destroy the team, like, and you can't do that. Like, it's not how it works. So again, I think what you said is true, and I hope that they took this time off to really just pull their socks up and like polish the spots where they were, looking really poor. But yeah, I guess 3-1.
I actually want to highlight what Miru said with consistency. Like, if we always talk about OGs being the most consistent team. I think Cubs are the least consistent team.
Yeah,
they're not consistently bad. They're not consistently good. They sometimes roll in that 20 and Minitech kills 3 people and the fight's over. But it just doesn't, like, they often also just feed. So
it's like it's just like hit or miss, man. It's just like sometimes it hits and woo, it hit home, and then Mini's got 12 in the back pocket, and then other times it's wow, this is really what's happening. I'm really witnessing this.
Losing Ziv actually was quite a big part of that. I think he was someone they could rely on to be, let's say, consistently at a higher level when compared to Snapper. Not that Ziv is particularly consistent. It's not a word I would use to describe him as a rule of thumb, but you can see the difference not having that sharp, pointy edge to go alongside Minitech compared to the rest of the squad. What a difference that makes. So they kind of rise in performance from where they were at the beginning of the year. That sharp rise was in big part due to Ziv and Minitech. I think losing Ziv kind of shows a big part of their weaknesses. So Blur, let's hear the last prediction from you.
So I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very hard-fought game. And I think we talk about Vanguard having two weeks to maybe catch up to the meta, but it's Vanguard with 2 weeks as a bunch of really experienced players, so you won't expect their individual skills to really go up as much. I'd say Cubs coming in with a couple of players who maybe aren't as used to the roles they're playing, coming in maybe not with players who aren't as used to the team environment as the other team are, maybe have more scope to have improved over this 2 weeks. And I think the potential they have to kind of like find a gap in Vanguard's armor and absolutely exploit it is very high, because Vanguard don't have a very good historic record of acclimatizing to things that they're discomforted by well. I mean, like as soon as a team finds something that beats them, they just keep doing it until they win. Like it's really like Vanguard very frequently just aren't able to react to that. So I'm gonna go as a tentative 3-2 to Vanguard, but I think if Cubs find something that they can exploit, I think they could exploit it to really good effect to win this game.
So Defect, what was your scoreline?
Oh, I had 3-1 to Vanguard.
3-1. Peach was a 3-1 as well. Miru was a 3-2. Blur was a 3-2. I'm gonna put down for 3-1. I don't think Cubs has got what it takes to beat Vanguard consistently, but I really wouldn't be surprised either way. I think it's gonna, on the day we're gonna watch the first match and be like, okay, this is the team that's winning. They look much better today. But until we reach that, well, I mean, we're not gonna watch this game, but no scoreline would surprise me. But I think at the end of the day, based on our power ranking, I think 3-1 is definitely worth it.
3-0 in the favor of Cubs would surprise me.
I don't know. Vanguard looked like they could just get boomed. Like against Leyden, they just got boomed. And it starts with bad. They don't deal with Minitech at all, and he just runs rough shot all over them. So let's scroll our way back up here, back towards the upper bracket.
Can we do the lower bracket?
We got a 12 p.m.
to
go through.
Oh, that is very
We got a whole round of fixtures.
Yeah,
right.
DJ Peach, can you make it so we can see our previous predictions?
Yes.
Oh, you wanted them at the same time? Sure.
Yeah. There we go.
So, looking at our first match now, this is where things start to heat up, guys. As we go forward, every match becomes less and less obvious. We kind of get the easy ones out of the way right at the start, and we start to get question marks around all of these matches. So, Risen taking on Rage Quit. Blur, I want to start with you as the resident Rage Quit expert, and Miru will come to you after that. Thoughts on this matchup? Do you think Risen is just a step below Odyssey, or do you think they can step it up in this matchup?
I don't see it happening. I think it's a 3-0 for Odyssey. I think they just outclass them in every section of their team comp. So I think it'll just be, even if Risen are equally drilled in their comps, I think Odyssey are just better players in general.
You agree, Miru?
Yeah, 100%. He speaks the truth. The man does not lie, so yeah.
So 3-0 there for Rage Quit. Peach and Defect, just quickly, you guys agree with that?
I'm not dying on this hill. And I didn't see Risen taking a map really. Maybe one, but I'd be surprised if it was a 3-2.
I'm casting my mind back to how Odyssey looked against OG, and they looked like quite disorganized.
Is that a proper comparison you can make?
No,
Only a cum.
but it's the only information we have. Okay, that we also have Coach Blur in the house here, so he's pretty confident in how his squad's going to do. So I think we can take that at face value.
Yeah, I think that's two different worlds of games, though.
Yeah.
Like Risen and OG are just two different worlds of games for Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So that's going to be a 3-0 for Rage Quit here against Risen. And we take a look at Overclocked versus Leiden. Now, looking at the games we have up against showing up here, this is probably the one we're going to cast. I think it's going to be the closest of this group of 4 matches. So, funnily enough, we have not covered a new team yet. This is kind of the nature of the beast. It's just this middle bracket of teams. In fact, if you go back to the power rankings, you look at the teams that were casted. It paints a clear picture of which teams give us the best games for the most part. With the exception of Calypso, it's all one little bracket of teams in the middle. So we expect to see those teams a lot because there's a lot of question marks on how they'll perform, and they kind of perform well up against each other. So Overclocked taking on Leiden. Peach, you've said you're confident in your ability to take on Leiden. I've seen you guys scrim, and I agree, but the Leiden I saw in scrims versus the Leiden I saw on
That's the
Saturday
exact same reasoning
are
I
different
have.
teams.
That's the exact same reasoning I have, but I really feel like my boys can step up and that we will play our best game. And I feel like we still can outclass Leiden in many sections. Especially thanks to Mr. Blur over here. Thank you, coach. But yeah, I really feel like the boys in green can take a W against Leiden here.
Okay. Blur, you said you've installed some sort of confidence in him. Do you think that confidence is well founded, or do you think your old team is going to show up too strong?
I think Overclocked in their current state look very strong. And I think this is a meta that suits them as well. They've been practicing really, really well at it, and they've got a consistent roster that's been playing really well together. I think Leiden look good. They look good against Vanguard, but Vanguard, I think, looked really bad at the same time. I think it's a mix of, Leiden looked good, but Vanguard also just didn't look like they were up for the task. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 in the towards Overclocked.
Okay. Miru, any dissenting opinions?
No, I mean I put my money on Overclocked, to be honest. I really want them to show up. Like I said before in the game, like I have a lot of faith in the pop-up potential that they have, And I want to see it. I just want to see them show it, because they have it, but it's about not choking when the time comes.
Yeah, and they looked pretty sloppy against Evo, but again, it's kind of a different world. Perhaps.
Yeah, it's a complete tier break. 2 even,
exactly.
maybe, I think. Oh no, it was 1.
No, it's 1. No, it's
Yeah.
1. But still, the one between those two, it shouldn't be what you classify as an entire world. So I think that you can bring it to a team like Evo, not win, but it can be really close. So with a game like this, I want it to be as clean of a 3-0 as it could possibly be.
Yeah. I think that match, if Overclock do win, it's going to set the tone for how they feel against Rage Quit going forward. Because if they can take that comfortably and confidently, they're going to feel really good going against Rage Quit in the next stage, and that's going to be very important for them. Defect, last word from you on this matchup?
3-2. I want to believe in Overclocked. 3-2 for Overclocked. I think it'll be a close match. It'll be a hard-fought one, and I think the team whose mental will last the longest will win. In this case, so Peach, you have to go rehearse those heroic speeches, and you can
or just lose and then you can come produce as well. Either way, I'm fine with the result. Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
Just get to popping those squats early in the game. Get in their head.
Yeah, exactly.
that might be a legit strategy. It's just like go break their spirit. I recall old Thunderclap did that against old Energy. Is where every time we got a kill, we just have Tugul on Mercy just teabag them, and they raged so hard. I think 20 broke his headset.
Oh my god.
and couldn't play. Yeah.
Couldn't take it, bro. Oof.
We've all been there, guys. Or maybe it was just me. Anyway.
I haven't been there. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, because your headset is already dog shit. You can't afford to throw that one away.
Capital D colon, man.
So what are we going with here? I think 3-1 for the most part, right? Or was it 3-2?
I'm voting 3-2.
Okay, I think then it's 3-2 because Miru, you were on 3-1. Blur, I think you were on 3-1.
Yes.
And Mr. Captain, what was yours?
Well, you didn't ever ask me, but I'm gonna go 3-1.
I didn't. Sorry.
I'm
So
gonna
then
go
it's
3-1.
3-1.
I voted. I'll crack
Yeah.
my answer to that. Hold on, ADMSR.
The one in the font is
Cheers,
bizarre.
brother.
It looks like a bracket.
I mean, if you look closely enough, sure. I suppose.
What do you say? No, never.
What the
No,
hell
never
is
mind.
going
Okay.
on?
So, I mean, I'm not unhappy with that, but really it wouldn't surprise me if some different kind of Leiden showed up and they just donkeyed
Leiden's always
everyone
been that
up
team.
until...
For
Yeah.
real.
They just beat everyone up until Odyssey, and they just looked super strong and then got beat by a better team. But we'll have to wait and see. That's kind of the nature of these predictions. Moving forward, Calypso taking on Team Mist. No real question marks here. I think the team coming from the upper brackets got this one pretty much handled. Any disagreements there with 3-0 for Team Mist?
I don't see Calypso taking too many fights off Team Mist.
No.
Team Mist is
neither.
polished. Calypso have a lot to prove here, but yeah, good luck to the boys. Prove us wrong. But I'm gonna have to give it 3-0. I don't think it'd be fair to give it anything else.
I think we're all in agreement there. Anyone with anything else?
No.
Nope.
No?
I can't. I'm looking to see Blur shake his head, but I just realized
Let's look at the photo.
that picture will not move. Right, that brings us to Vanguard taking on Evo. Now, I think this one's a bit more clear-cut than Vanguard's previous round, in the sense that Evo is looking the much stronger of these two teams. I'd say pretty comfortable 3-0 here for Evo.
Yes.
Yeah, looking how
Agreed.
Evo dismantled Overclocked, it wouldn't surprise me to see them do the same
Yes.
with Vanguard.
Yeah. And we kind of all think Vanguard, Overclocked, Leiden are in a similar bracket there. So if Evo can beat one of them, it stands to reason they could beat all of them pretty comfortably.
For sure.
Anybody with any dissenting opinions there before we move on?
Nope. Lock it in.
Light. So that is a 3-0 for Evo. And we can scroll back up to our upper bracket in case you guys have forgotten who else is in this tournament. ATK, 2CP, and Beastie Boys OG Kintsugi. A pair of one fascinating matchup here and then another match. So ATK taking on 2CP. Anyone? Complete silence, right? 3-0 2CP. We'd love to see 2CP show up and do something fabulous, but they haven't really shown that kind of form all year. So they'd really have to level up when it comes to finals, or ATK would have to. 20 would have to break his headset again.
I want to play Warzone today.
Although he might be able to beat them without sound. But we'll have to.
Claim.
No, it's not a flame to 20.
20's in the chat right now as
2CP.
well.
I saw he just.
I know Aquatic is just here.
He's lurking, bro.
I mean, it'd have to be a pretty big step up
In the
here.
chat.
It'd have to be a pretty big step. That's him reacting to the previous thing, I think, right? Because there's a bit of a delay.
Oh no.
It's like
So
a
he's
10
gonna
second delay
react
or
to this
something.
now coming up in a moment. No question marks here. Anyone have anything to say about this matchup or
Sponge.
no? Okay, nothing. Cool. So moving on to a more interesting matchup on paper. BC Boys taking on Kintsugi. Now I kind of ruined this little prediction segment here by discussing this in the power ranking segment. And I think we all kind of fell mostly on the side of the Beastie Boys still being too strong, with the exception of Defect maybe, who felt that OG could really show up and do something special. So let's run through here and give me actual numbers. Blur, let's start with you on the right-hand side. Who do you think takes this one?
3-0 to Beastie Boys. I think they're just too strong.
Miru?
Yeah. I think Beastie Boys got it in the bag.
Peach.
I think Beastie Boys definitely have the clear win here. OG being consistent, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 3-1, but I highly doubt it.
Defect. Flip it.
Oh, there's a 3-2 OG, 3-2 OG proved me.
3-2 OG. I agree with Defect 3-2 OG, but we've been outvoted, so it
we've
will
been
be a
outvoted.
3-0. Let's put it at a 3-1 then, to kind of
Yeah, I
split
suppose
the
we can
difference.
find the middle ground. I'm
no,
happy with
it's
the
a
middle
vote
ground.
for a 3-0, I think.
I'm happy with the middle ground.
Some of our parliament here are
Or that.
sticklers for the rules. Fine, I'll put it down at a 3-0. But let it be known that if it's not a 3-0, Defect and I were on the side of justice on this occasion.
Predicting OG to win. Oh, they took a map, guys. They got the moral victory.
Well, you guys all predicted 3-0s. And I feel like predicting
I said-
a clean
I said-
sweep
I said
in
3-1
one
was-
direction is worse than predicting a dirty sweep in either direction. If it's not a
I
clean sweep.
mean, more maps between your prediction and ours still.
Unless it's a 3-2. But anyways. So just to highlight some thoughts on that. Beastie Boys on their worst day are still extremely mechanically gifted. Visions is going to be in the lab cooking up some interesting stuff for
Spicy.
Beastie Boys on paper. But it really depends on which Beastie Boys shows up. Ultimately, I think if we get the worst Beastie Boys, there's no question that OG is strong enough to take a map of them. But if we get Beastie Boys playing to their potential, they will dumpster everybody until they reach 80k. I think that we can all pretty much agree on that. So moving on now, that was a brief glance at the upper bracket. Let's drop down again to the lower bracket here and get a look back at these teams.
Well, we're
Rage
here.
Quit taking
I hope
on.
you guys can just quickly. Excuse me, I need to do a thing.
Okay,
Back in a
yeah,
second. I'll leave it here for you guys though.
we're in a good spot here. Rage Quit Odyssey taking on. Why is he leaving, man? That's his team we're talking about. For real though. Rage Quit
He doesn't
taking
wanna
on
talk about
Overclocked. Blur, Coach Blur of both these teams. Based on what you know about them, who do you think? I mean, okay, let's rephrase that. Do you think Overclocked can take maps of Odyssey?
I think there's the potential for Overclock to take maps, but I think Odyssey are probably the stronger team and will favor themselves in the 1v1s in this game.
Okay. So you think it's going to be 3-0 Odyssey, or have you got something else?
I think it's going to be 3-0 Odyssey, but I'd be willing to hazard a 3-1 for a I'd be willing to say Overclock have the potential to take maps.
Okay.
So I'll
Okay.
stick to a 3-1, I think.
Okay. 3-1. Okay.
3-1, yeah, 3-1 to Odyssey.
Defect?
How many diamond players were there on Overclocked? 1? 2?
What? Why are
There's
you bringing up
Luke.
SR? What?
Luke got to 3-4.
Okay, because I know Peach got.
Cubic
as well.
is 4-2. Peach is diamond, but I think Peach is diamond and tank. He
I'm
plays
diamond on
support.
support.
SMH.
He is on support.
I'm
Yeah,
diamond.
Fine with it.
The Cubic is the question again for me.
Cubic
I
is the
feel-
answer.
Yeah.
I think he's the wild card in this one. Look, I think with Odyssey and the sort of the leadership they have, they crumbled when they were up against a well-rounded team with like a lot of outstanding players like OG. But I think if they're going up against Odyssey, where they have like one player who has to do the deadlift, the Cubic deadlift, I think they can.
I think
adapt.
it's more the mini take deadlift in Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but you get what I mean. Is that I think I think Odyssey can adapt, and I don't see them. I don't think I can see an Overclock victory too many times. Maybe I'd hazard a 3-1, but probably a 3-0. Sorry, bitch.
That's
fine.
okay.
Prove me wrong.
Miru, let's hear from you and your squad before we jump to the captain once again.
Yeah, my squad. No. I think so too. I think I would like to see Overclock bring the flame and bring the heat, but I think it'll still boil down to, them maybe winning one map and then, Rage Quit sort of pulls it together and play to their strengths. So I think I agree with Blow with the 3-1. I think, yeah.
Okay, Peach. Confident prediction from you, here, please.
I know. I'm gonna go full in. I'm gonna be with confidence, but with like a subtle notch down with the confidence levels. And I just want to say, I want to see how map 5 goes.
Okay.
That's what I want to say. That's all
But
I
you
want
have
to
to
say.
tell us who you think is gonna win map 5.
See that I've got no idea, because I think this is Saturday. This is map 5 is what, Ilios?
Let's have a look. See,
I believe so. That's Nepal Ilios.
Saying you're not sure about map 5 is a coward's prediction.
It
you
is
see-
Ilios. Yeah,
It is Ilios.
correct.
So we've had a bit of a history with Ilios where sometimes we are. No, there's like usually like 1 or 2 maps out of the 3 maps on Ilios. So I feel like the last map can probably go 2-1 to Odyssey if we get to a map 5, which I'm still having the confidence of, you know. But at the end of the day, I feel like by the time we get to map 5, we're probably going to start crumbling a little bit more. Just knowing my own team.
No, be like you in a donkey
Back,
these
bro.
kids.
Stand for your team.
No, I'm
roll
standing.
these kids
I'm
like
standing for my
the-
team.
Pizza
I'm
dough.
I didn't say I was finished. I didn't say so. Just because you're crumbling does not mean you fall. So my prediction is I can't wait to see you at 6 p.m. to CP. That's my prediction.
Hey, there we go.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's the
Okay,
heat.
so that's a 3-2
bold
for Peach.
prediction.
That's
3-2 for
the-
Peach, but I think the
It's a
rest of you
bold-
are on
I'm
the
taking a
3-1 train.
stand. I'm taking a stand.
The rest of you are on the 3-1 train for Odyssey, unfortunately.
Take a stand in the producer's booth at 6 p.m.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Like I want to move so that he can come take over, so I can go home. I have a bride tomorrow evening.
Um,
Oh my god.
what was I gonna say? You're gonna be mughbra.
I know, but it's a friend flying down from far away. So.
Tell him to fly back up and come down next week.
It's the time of Corona, no travel allowed.
Exactly.
Yo, relax, man. Yo,
Um,
Run.
Next match, actually a very fascinating match potentially. I think we've mentioned this before. 2 teams on kind of opposite trajectories, and it remains to be seen when this match actually takes place how we feel about these teams. But I think on paper, in terms of where we've placed these teams, TSG the stronger of these 2 teams, but no result would surprise me here. Honestly, I really think Evo can bring it if they bring it. If they don't bring it and they get boomed, then that wouldn't surprise me. And I think TSG is lacking a kind of carrying edge. I think that's my biggest concern with Team Mist, is that who on that team really stands out in a big way. I think we talk about Nian quite a lot, and he's been a real star performer for them.
Yeah, look, no, I am sold on the 9 train. 9 is my son, and I think I see in him what I saw in Aquatic before he joined Thundercloud.
Okay.
I think he's a rising
High
star.
praise.
It is. But honestly, I think like by next year this time we'll see Nyan on pushing GM and being contested by other teams that are in the top echelon for being headhunted. I think the kid's good. So if you're saying there's a lack of carry potential, no, you're wrong.
Okay. How do you think he matches up to Jelly Doodle on the same role on the other side?
At least equivalent at this point. No, I know Jelly Doodle is very talented, and I love the guy, but I think 9 is they're in the same sort of wheelhouse at the moment, skill-wise. I can't tell you who's better right now, but I do think that TSG does have that star potential in 9. But yeah, look, let me put it this way: if you swap the names of all the players in the teams, I probably wouldn't be able to tell them too much apart in the game.
You think they've got quite a similar edge to them?
Yeah. Both the main tanks, with Newt and with Maestro, both the star hit scan players, the support line is sort of in the same echelon.
Sorry, question about Evo Blur. Why were they
Yes.
running Sheldron on Sunday instead of?
That
If you
was
can say.
because Big Tuna was moving.
Oh, he just wasn't available.
Yeah, he just wasn't there.
Okay, that is something you need to consider about Evo's performance against who they played.
Us.
Who did they play?
It was us.
Oh
Overclocked.
yes,
Hi.
Was
they
without
looked,
their
they
full
looked
core.
fine.
They
without-
didn't. Yeah,
And
confirmed
Zari
Cubic
at the
was
moment
really
is a
sad.
really significant piece of the puzzle that is the current meta. So not having him there, they'll level up quite significantly, I think, and we might not see what we saw on Volskaya happening with Big Shuna in the mix. Which, just to remind you, I rewatched the game today, was a 5-minute hold by Overclock on Volskaya.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was.
So
that's
that
long.
was that you. How do you not remember that? Was that just?
I
I remember. I don't remember it being
Not
5
the game.
minutes. I remember not. I remember the match beautifully.
Yeah.
It was probably like it was literally in comms. It was Cubic just being like, "I'm not taking this anymore. Just shut up, all of you, and we're doing something for a change." And then that resulted in what you say, a 5-minute hold.
Yeah, no, it was nuts.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think with Big Tune in the team, it's a different team. Head to head for these two teams. First time they played, Evo took a 3-0, but the teams were completely different at the time. Or at least Team Mist was. And the most recent match was ATK Elite Division Season 2, 3-2 to Team Mist. So these teams have been trading blows, and even Evo at their weakest and TSG at their strongest, it's been an even matchup in the recent history. So could be an interesting one. Miru, what are your thoughts on this one?
Oh man,
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's just
But
games.
yeah, I'm kind of looking at Maestro, and I mean if Big Tuna shows up on the day and can perform, along with with the sides of like Wallace or 420.
Well, he's moved to
Oh,
2CP
yeah,
now.
he's moved off.
Yeah, shit. So
Smiley.
So it's a Smiley, yeah.
Who's solid,
Space
but
Panda.
it's
Yeah.
not as
It's
rated
not,
as.
yeah, you're missing the.
She's much more of a
Impact
wing.
position now.
He needs to have Wallace on that role, right? He's one of the better. He'd raid it hard.
Yeah,
but I
mean,
always had questions
Lucio,
about...
not Lucio's meta,
Lucio,
to be
yeah,
fair.
Lucio's.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
why play Lucio when you could just play like an Anna Brig or an Anna Mercy?
Yeah.
You
It's
just like
fine.
Anna
It's Mercy,
Brig.
probably.
You just like Brig.
You heard me very well. You heard me.
Save
very
this for the panel on Sunday.
Whoa, calm down, friends. Let's get through this.
Brig.
What was I going to say now? I was going to say something poignant, and I've just completely my. So, what is your prediction there, Miru?
Yeah, I give it to Evo. I think I'll still give it to them. I think.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a 3-1 or a 3-2, but maybe it's close. I say 3-2, maybe.
Be a
2-2
by the way.
to Evo.
Yeah.
Okay. So, who hasn't spoken yet? Blur.
I give it a 3-1 to Evo. I think this is a good meta for them. I think they've always looked stronger on the dive than they have on the bunker and even the brawl. The dive was just what they always looked strongest at. So I think they'll probably come out look at a 3-1. TSG lost the strong players there, and I think they'll all be close maps. But I don't see them actually having the edge to beat them here.
The effect. What you went for TSG? What was your scoreline there?
I have it as a 3-2 either way. It could even be a 3-1, but I think it'll be a close game regardless, and one to watch if we can. Look,
We'll probably just a heads up. We'll probably watch the upper bracket match.
boring.
Well, I don't know, dog. It's your OG boys taking on Beastie Boys. Keep me with that boring.
Can we at least get the VOD for this one? I want to watch that.
That's your baby, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'll ask. Yeah, no, look, don't put me up on the wall. Neon deserves it. Give it 3-2 for teammates. I just want Neon to. He needs the confidence. The boy took such a hit after the loss they had. Let's remember against who. And look, I rate him. Although it could go either way. I just think he needs a hug.
Peach, from you, last one.
I feel like I'm gonna side with Blur here. I feel like this is Evo's time to shine out of everyone. You know,
Bias.
it's not bias. No, don't you hit me with that.
Side with Blur all the time.
Very true.
This is what our admin meetings look like for those.
They had
of
a
you.
very tough. They had a very tough last leg. You know, it didn't really play into their favor, and I mean, I'm not really basing this off of the results against Overclocked. I feel like that was going to be Evo's game regardless. And I'm not taking that into too much of account. I just feel like this play style and this engagement style, like everything just better suits them now more than any other point throughout this year. And I feel like, you know, with enough hard work, they're going to come out on top of Team Mist. And I feel like it's probably going to be a 3-1. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 3-2.
Can I just point out that we did rate Team Mist as the next tier over Evo?
That's what
We
I was
did.
gonna say.
We did,
Can you
but we
check the
based
power
that-
rankings quickly?
Yeah, we can.
Just jump back there.
But I did base mine off of like how everything has changed from this year. This stage compared to the last stage.
Yeah, no, I stand by this. While I think Evo has a puncher's chance, I think it has to favor Team Mist.
The other thing we did say last week when we did these rankings is that, you know, despite there being a tier difference there, the space between 7th and 3rd is a lawless wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go.
No.
Okay, last week we said, yeah.
Yeah, we did say that last week, but Evo's. I still rate OG very highly. I think OG is quite powerful.
I think OG looked a cut above the rest of these teams, and I think 2CP.
Also, I'm glad
they beat
you
Team
added
Mist,
this
so.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree that from where we were, these teams were quite closely matched. I mean, my brain is quite smooth, and this sheet I'm looking at right here says TSG Team Mist 5, Evo 7. So I'm gonna have to back my boys TSG here, give them the 3-1. That kind of gives a very split outlook here. I think we're gonna have to go 3-2 Evo then, just to split the difference here, and based on the fact that 3 of you are favoring Evo. Again, defect, we've been outvoted here, unfortunately.
This happens when we bring on people who are wrong.
Okay. Alright, GG's.
Oh man, democracy is a fickle mistress, unfortunately, and very often in the real world, more people are wrong than are right. So let's scroll up here and take a look.
Aren't we gonna do? No, there's the.
I can't.
Saturday
Yes, no,
6
we'll
p.m.
just move on the lower bracket here.
Saturday, 6 p.m. Let's go.
Right,
Yep.
the last match 4 of Saturday. It's going to be a very busy day. Before we start, which of these 2 matches would you rather see?
The rematch.
Evo, OG.
Rematch.
The rematch.
Okay. So let's start then at the top here. Rage Quit taking on XVG. You guys have now pretty solidly said you think the other match is going to be closer. I can't say I disagree based on the relative strength of these 2 teams. I think 2CP, having beaten Team Mist and sort of secured themselves in 2nd place in that bracket below Beastie Boys. I think a layer above Rage Quit Odyssey. Is there anything, again, we'll start with you, Blur, as coach of Odyssey. Anything you think Odyssey can bring to this one to make it not one-sided? Or do you think it's going to be closer, perhaps a 3-2 or 3-1 2CP's way?
I think it's going to be less down to what Odyssey brings and more the 2CP we see. If 2CP haven't had a good day, have been hitting a couple of bumps along the way, their mentals is likely to crack as any teams. I mean, it's one of the things we've always said about 2CP is that, you know, they're as much their own opponents as the other team. So I think if they come into this match boomed, I think Odyssey has a chance. And I mean, losing, if we're predicting them to, you know, if their game against ATK, a 3-0, which we're predicting, if that's like a bad 3-0, that could really hurt them. That could really, you know, put them in a like hit them for a spin. And then I think that's the kind of opportunity.
Look, that said, I think it's an equal chance that they take a 3-0 against ATK, but it's like, you know, they take a couple of fights, maybe both of them push the payload all the way on the same map. 2CP on a high, like when you have players like Aquatic and Silencio and them, like, you know, riding a bit of a wave, like there's few that can stand up to them.
No, of course, I agree, and like that's kind of the thing we're looking at, is that do they come in here? You know, we saw them come in against Odyssey, and Odyssey took 2 maps against them in the leg because they came in and they just looked boomed from the start.
Yeah,
and then they somehow settled down, found their stride, and then it wasn't close. So. For Odyssey now, it's, you know, can they hold a consistent level of performance? For 2CP, it's do we come in with strong mental? And if they don't, then I think Odyssey have a chance. If they do, then I think it's probably a win for 2CP.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Anybody else with any just any? So what was your scoreline there?
I'm gonna give it a 3-1 to 2CP.
3-1 2CP. I can agree with that. Anybody want to talk to a 3-0 here for 2CP? Anybody thinks 2CP is just too strong?
I think with the uncertainty and the sort of the variable that we just discussed, a 3-1 is most realistic. But I think it'll be probably more likely that we'll see either a 3-2 or a 3-0.
Is Aquatic still in the chat?
Aquatic, are you gonna? What's your prediction?
So I want to know from Aquatic, how do they feel going up against ATK? Because that's kind of the point you've raised now. If their expectation is to do decently well against ATK, and they don't, that's going to perhaps set them off on the wrong foot when they come into the Odyssey match. If they're expecting to get dominated by ATK, they can only really exceed their expectations. and that's going to mean no matter what, they're going to come into the Odyssey match fresh, because then they will have had 2 hours break basically. If you look at the ATK match as a speed run that doesn't exist, they're going to come in with a lot of extra time, whereas Odyssey are going to have to ground their way through a tough overclocked match, a tough match before that, I think. If we can just look back at that. Well, yeah, the Risen shouldn't be so tough. But, decent teams that could easily take a map of Odyssey, they could be in a really tough spot by the time they get to this 2CP match. We talk about the 2CP mental, but Odyssey is going to be in their own little squabble throughout the whole day. So I think that's a question mark. And we're going to have to think about it as well. I'm not typing. I have both my hands off the keyboard. But sorry. But I think that's the question mark. I think ultimately for me, 2CP was such an easier day comparatively. I think we're pretty confident in the ability to beat Leiden without any issues. Pretty confident in the ability to lose to ATK without any issues. They come into the Odyssey match. This is where their tournament resumes after the Leiden match. And maybe I'm overrating ATK and underrating 2CP, but from where I'm standing, that match is a non-issue for me. And if I'm 2CP, I'm not looking at ATK. I'm looking at going as deep as possible, and I'm looking more at Beastie Boys and how I'm going to do against that team when it comes down to facing them, and OG as well. Not worried so much about ATK. But like I said, I want to hear from Aquatic if he's still around, what he thinks of that. Okay,
ATK is easy, no problem.
Okay,
Great.
so
Thanks for the input, Aquatic.
So they're gonna be extremely
main
boomed when it
tank
comes to the Rage Quit match.
Aquatic, you say main tank difference, but this is a meta without main tanks. Please calm down.
Okay, so that's what we're predicting if they're extremely boomed, right?
No, I think even if they're boom maxed, I still think it'll be a 3-2 probably for TCP.
Okay. You still think they're a level above Odyssey?
Yeah, I think so. The thing is, it just takes they have 2 good DPS, and if they just pop off once, that's enough to rebuild the mental. They can come in worst case scenario, they come in boom and then lose the first map. But I think somewhere the Slantia is just gonna get an Anablet and get 4, or Aquatic's just gonna pop 2 heads within a second, and that'll be it. Then they'll be back in the game. Especially if you have a coach like Lagbeast who has the best mental in the country. Who's going to be in the chat. I don't think the mental sort of debuff is, and there goes my camera, goodbye. It's been nice.
I was going to say.
Side effect.
I'm back. Yes, so, I don't think, I think Odyssey is a strong, as an underdog here. Obviously, upsets can happen, but I think any Odyssey win will be against the odds, and it'll be called an upset going forward. So 3-1, 3-0. Is the territory that's most likely.
So I think we were all on 3-1 then. Personally, I think it's going to be a 3-0, but I believe in the opportunity for a 3-1. And I think most of you are a little bit more on the fence than I am. So looking at our next match, the more interesting of the two as voted by our...
This is not closer. This is farther between than the other two. Just look at the power rankings.
I mean, they're kind of equally distant, right? Because I think
there's only one team between Odyssey and 2CP, where there's 4 teams between.
Well, then, stand wholly
you were lower than Odyssey there.
Yeah.
So you lied to me then 5 minutes ago.
I did. No, I didn't. I think that.
But it's still
one.
the rematch. Sort of.
Okay, sure.
That's sort of.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that sort of persona that's coming through. Okay,
OG is better in every role.
Listen, Simplord, I ain't come here to you suck on the straw that is OG Gaming with your shirt. Come out here. I think if you're putting it between the 2 maps, this one is still going to be the most interesting, hands down. It's not that it's one-sided and therefore it's kind of GG's. It's more of between the fights that you'll take. I think Evo, being the strongest in this meta, can sort of bring the thunder compared to a Rage Quit team against 2CP where you've got people like Aquatic. So yeah.
But you have Slumpy and.
I don't care.
Okay, hold on.
I don't care. That's not the question, dog.
Let me ask a question. Defect, you said OG's better in every role than Evo.
It's so trash. Oh, it's such a
Miru,
garbage
speak to
bro.
that, please.
Name the role. Name the role. Which role
Okay.
is Evo demonstrably better in?
Let's look at the. Let's look at. It's hard to tell now. Okay, Maestro versus Zoom.
Ooh, by a long shot. Zoom's one of the
By a
better
long
main
shot?
tanks in the country. Yes,
I think so.
he's like 3-9. He's
Thank you.
the wonderful SR.
Okay, alright, cool.
And look, if you're talking about team synergy, you saw him play like Antiablo was like attached to him by a string. Like the dives were clean, their engages were on point. Like his bubble management was very
Okay, but
impressive.
that's more of a
That's-
holistic approach. Big
Yeah.
Tuna versus Alvin Slayer.
So Big Tuna rolls, puts him in, joint, and smokes him like a doobie.
Defect.
Big joint.
I would say it's better. I would say it's better.
Joint. And
my
defect, just to put it to you right now, if you're talking about SR differences, let's put that to it as well. Tell me what it be.
I don't know. I don't know
Last
what
time I
Big
checked-
Tuna's SR is.
Last time I checked, Alvin's on the low. He's on the low diamond right there. He's peaking, almost gonna break the diamond seal. It's gonna, be gone.
Clapton is coming.
If you want to talk SRs and you want to be the bigger man, yeah, I think you gotta put it to him. So come here at me.
Well,
SR.
we'll have to
Kiss
see.
my
Right?
ass.
I think the DPS difference, the main tank difference.
Okay, what's the DPS difference? Cheetah Boy versus who's playing that role? for them? Auntie?
Antiablo, Slumpy, and Orexum.
Versus Cheetah Boy and
JRB.
Jelly Doodle.
Oh, Jelly Doodle, sorry. On fucking J. I think I don't know. I think Jelly is sort of in the same stratosphere as the other three, but not much. But not close enough. I think all three of the DPS on OG are better
then both of the DPS on.
than both on the DPS on.
Well, Defect,
Anything.
if you want to bring up SRs, I think you may need to take the point that Erikson is about to hit plat. So
Oh
please,
my
when you're
goodness.
talking about a 6v6, please just throw the SR out the window for when you're talking the comparisons to the way the teams perform, because
Okay, well then let's do that.
No,
OG
but
looks
listen,
the
Defect,
cleanest.
but listen to me, Defect, because last time I checked, when we took Eden down and we put them against the wall, and 20 broke his headphones, the SR was out the window, my guy. Like SR was ain't make an impact there at all, because we were just simply better at that game and in that phase. So,
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I just take issue with the idea that, not even take issue. I just like to, stir the pot a little bit here on the idea that every single player is better on their role than Evo is.
I don't know about that. I think,
I don't
think
disagree on
it
the DPS though. I think OG's DPS are pretty cracked.
Yes, I
they
think
cracked. Yeah.
the off support at the very least. I mean, M is solid, but the Ninja is one of the better ones. I haven't seen Orth has been just fine.
Wouldn't you have to compare Orth and Space?
No, it would be Smiley.
It's
Yeah, Smiley and
Smiley.
Or Smiley and Orth, sorry.
Smiley and North, yeah.
Wait,
In my
just saying
opinion, the
main
ninja's
support.
like a budget fluffy. That's my 2 cents.
I don't know, man. I rate the Ninja quite highly. When he tries, he's quite good.
I mean, he's good and all, but I still think Fluffy is best flex support in the country. Just putting it out there.
That might be true, but Fluffy's not in this game, so.
No, I know.
Okay. I think
I'm saying that,
flex
that
support
the ninja is like the
That's
best
a
next
bold
to.
thing. That's a
next
bold
to
one. What
Fluffy.
about Squishy? I think
Squishy's
Squishy
a
would be
DPS.
good.
Squishy's dead. Squishy doesn't play on the
He's a
team
DPS.
at the moment.
Squishy's technically on 2CP's roster, actually.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Is he going to play any games?
We're bringing his sword.
If Squishy plays, I'll put him in the conversation, but I don't think he's going to start over tops.
True. I'd throw him in this combo.
My question is,
no
does
cap.
2CP even know what role Squishy's gonna play if he plays?
All of them. Every single one.
If I'm 2CP, I don't play Squishy. Not because I think he's bad, but you've built the
You
roster
don't have
around
his
what you have
synergy.
now.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think adding 14 flex supports to your roster adds anything.
it could be a spanner, or it could be just the ultimate, turbo jet fuel that you need.
It's true.
Okay.
Okay, so
You don't want to take the risk.
back to my point. Listen,
Okay.
in my opinion, OG has better synergy and teamwork. in my opinion, OG has better DPS. In my opinion, OG has a better main tank. In my opinion, OG has a better off support. With stacking all those, I don't think like Evo has a puncher's chance, but I have to give the 3-0 to OG. They looked clean. Evo looked like they were like.
What did we
struggling.
vote before?
Evo didn't look like Evo had one map where they struggled. The rest of the game they looked so unfazed. And even in the match that they struggled, they did so with 5 minutes on the clock.
We said 3-2 for Evo last time.
Yeah,
Do you see
I don't
the
see this
simpage?
being dramatically different.
Do you see the simpage? I see the straw into OG's, into OG's pocket right
Dude,
there. And
it's-
then it's- you know.
Effect on that OG fan subscription.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh,
That's a good one.
That's a good one. I can't argue that. Also, I'm also like same as I had before, 3-0 for OG. I don't think Evo's gonna just have a chance here.
Look,
personally.
yeah, look, you can say Evo all you want, but it'll come on Saturday at 6 p.m.
What
We'll
was
find out.
what was our prediction for the first round?
3-2.
3-2.
3-2
to OG.
somehow.
3-2
I
to
also
OG.
looked at that one. Me and Defect, I think we both thought like, what?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
I'll
I
have what the
think-
3 of them are smoking. Thank you.
I think
Yeah.
the score will probably not change coming into the fourth round. That's
God damn it.
I feel like it's going to be very similar. Like Evo will know what they need to work on when they come back into this match, if these predictions go as planned, which they feel like they're going to. I feel like OG will still be the better team that comes out on top, like raw mechanically, just out there. They are better. But I feel like Evo are still going to put up the biggest and best fight that they can. And they will, use everything that they can, their strategy, their mental, their everything that they have that they can hold on daily. I feel like they will be putting that to the test, and that's why I think that the score will remain unchanged, because I think from first round to fourth round, I feel like not much is going to change other than just being a little bit more prepared and knowing what to expect. But it's not enough to turn the table completely.
Let's take a slightly different angle here. So we've got a 3-2 down in the previous round. TSG team is taking on Evo. Do we think if TSG comes here, there's anything different? Do you think? What do you think of OG versus TSG team list? I'm going to start with you, Defect, because again, you had a dissenting opinion in the previous round.
I actually would I rated TSG in the previous one, and I'll probably rate them here slightly better. I think a 3-1, also just because TSG has historically been okay against OG for some reason. I
both
don't know what
consistent.
they're doing. Yeah, look, but I think TSG took the first game against them in like the calibrations or some weird thing back in the day, or maybe it was RMG.
No,
but-
you're right. It was RMG. They just 3-0'd them randomly.
Yeah, it's out of the blue. So I don't know what Team Mist is doing, and I think the other games were close as well. Can you check us
Yeah,
there?
3-2 in ATK Season 2 to OG, and 3-0 in the playoffs for RMG. So it's been close.
Yeah, look, I whatever. I don't know what TSG is doing, but it's working against OG. I haven't seen any of those matches cast. I think theoretically the gap should be a bit bigger, but look, yeah, can't argue with those results. I think it, but I still, if we had TSG here instead of Evo, I think it'd be a 3-1, but it's a 3-0 in my mind here. Also, look, you guys keep calling me OG Simp, but the Evo Simpage is hard here. Listen.
Oh yeah.
You guys need to stop. This is not it. This is not it. This is fan fiction. This is fan fiction. At the end, they're gonna come up here from the losers bracket and take the clutch 3-2 against ATK.
80K.
No.
It's actually a 3-4.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. These people are on drugs, and I don't agree with what they are presenting.
You guys either need
To
more
me.
drugs or less drugs, but Evo's not it.
But I mean, okay, so you guys are saying 3. I mean, you're still all going OG's way. So 3-2 is the prevailing wisdom. Can we downgrade it to a 3-1? Can we compromise here?
I
You
think
guys
it's
got
gonna
away
be-
with a
I think it's
compromise.
gonna be very similar, or it's gonna be like, it's either gonna be very similar or it's gonna be a complete sweep. But I'm gonna go with very similar.
Okay. But you're all going 3-2 on that side of the conversation. This side of the conversation. We're going 3-0 on this side.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah.
I'm going for the 3-1 here. Put it down. I'm making the executive decision. I gave you the 3-2 in the opening round, where we didn't have eyes on either of these teams and what they were actually going to be able to bring to the table. But I think after we watch OG donkey them in the first round, these predictions are going to look a bit suspicious. But anyways, if we move on to Sunday, 12 p.m., back to our upper bracket matchup, I believe. Yeah, there it is. ATK taking on the Beastie Boys. This is a critical matchup. That's going to be probably very one-sided. But make a case for Beastie Boys here, Blur.
They're very strong players, and maybe they've rehearsed something that's a little bit stronger than what we've seen from them so far. I think stylistically, if we see the same stuff we saw from them in Leg 3, it's another 3-0 for ATK. If we see them come out and play a little bit more, like a little bit smarter, a little bit better understanding of what this meta is doing, maybe they take a map, but I don't think they win this game.
Okay.
I think ATK is just too far above.
So 3-0. You think Beastie Boys take any maps?
Um,
Bearing in mind that ATK haven't lost a map since RMG.
yeah, no, I don't see it. ATK is just so strong, guys. It's unfair. Who put them in this tournament? Who's
the company with their name on the tournament? It's a bit of a funny situation, that, but it's
That's
not
what-
basically
that's what-
some hate. There'll be
that
some
the
hate.
best team in the country is their team.
Yeah.
But anyone make any case for Beastie Boys taking a map here?
Look, my 2 cents. Every night when I lie down and I close my eyes, I see
It's a good
the
spot.
Hanamura Beastie Boys versus ATK game, and it hurts me. And it hurts me here. And
Brings
and
a tear to my eye.
Yeah, it was sad. It made me lose faith in various, like, just a hope.
Or in
made me
any
lose hope.
deity in which you believe.
Yeah,
Just
none of them.
really
were there.
a serious awakening.
Yeah, look, every time I have to debate a religious person, I just show them the VOD.
and suddenly they just flick through
Yeah,
the
they're
face
just-
before
yeah.
fires.
Oh, it's converted.
Yeah, look, so no, it's a 3-0. Like, Beastie Boys can do something, but it'll be a different team than what we saw on Hanamura on that fateful day that I yearn to forget.
I mean, there's context to that. They got dominated in the first 2 maps, and then kind of were just like, whatever. It's not really indicative of their performance when they believe they can win, I think. I hope, because, oh my god, that map was awful to watch and cast. And at points I was just like, Blur, just talk, because I can't handle what's happening in this game. And I'm not even an Overwatch purist, so I can't even imagine what somebody who cares actually felt. But anyways, I think ATK looking for a solid 3-0 here to sign their ticket into the upper bracket final, or the grand finals. This is the upper bracket finals, by the way. So
Yep.
this winner of this is top 2. Loser of this goes down to play the
We should
third
just
place
rename
match.
this, yeah. Oh, that.
So yeah, a lot to be. This is an important match, and all of them are important at this stage. In fact, if we drop down now, any more thoughts on Beastie Boys as ATK before we move on? None.
Anyone
Okay.
gonna make the appeal for the 3-1?
No.
Nah.
Do it, cowards. No. Okay. So, like, how Blur actually was like, what are you gonna do?
Wait, push to you won't.
So Sunday 12 p.m. This is our losers semi-final. So winner of this, these 4 teams now are in the money. So top 4 get prizes. Peach, just scroll to our left here. Our right, sorry.
Oh.
And just scroll up there. So you can see it's just the top 4 left, and they all get prize money. I can't remember the breakdown specifically, but these matches are where you start to
25,
really get a sense of who the
12,
top teams
8-5?
are. I think it's 20-12-8-5.
I thought it was, no, half the prize pool goes to first.
Okay, it could be 25.
It's,
Anyways,
I'm pretty sure it's 25, 12, 8, 5. I'll check
should
it now while we're
probably-
speaking.
we should probably know this.
That
But
adds
just
up to
scroll
20.
back.
Yeah,
But
I'm
that's
correct. I'm correct. I'm correct.
Cool. Scroll back to the... Yeah. So, winner of this match is third place at worst. 2CP OG, a match we spoke about last week, and as a match we weren't really sure the result. Today, we kind of felt like some things had been illuminated in terms of how these 2 teams might match up. So we are likely to see this match play out. Not actually watch it, unfortunately. But it's going to be an interesting one. I think we're all on the side of OG here. But does anyone want to make a case? We'll start with 2CP winning. Does anyone have a case for 2CP
look.
taking the W here?
Every time I decide a matchup, is I take all the SR and then I add it together.
We know. We can tell. It shows.
That idea is to mirror what Hanamura 80k Beastie Boys does to us.
Oh no! This just want to hurt me. I'm sorry, my boy.
Like, TCP definitely looks stronger than they did now. I think
Yeah.
if we're expecting them to come out playing strong, we're expecting, to see them, a team that beats TSG 3-1 without too many kind of, one major bump in the road, but the rest was really very much in their favor.
Mhm.
I can see 2CP winning this. I think it's a close match. I don't think it's in any case given to either side.
I think it'll be close as well.
I'd say arguably I'd probably favor 2CP in this match, given the roster changes we've seen from them and the kind of consistency shift up we've seen from them from how they were playing last leg. I think especially they look a lot more confident engaging now than they did last leg, and they look confident in the mid fight, which was something that we saw they were very, very messy on during their period of transition.
Yeah, I think I agree. I wasn't listening, I'll be honest. But anyways, does anybody else have thoughts on that idea? What I was just saying?
I'm with it. I'm about it.
Yeah,
I'm all about it. I'm about seeing what I was a part of burn to the goddamn ground. So I'm about it.
Anti-bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got complete faith in TCP. Yeah, not gonna lie.
You guys are
Let's go.
friggin' unbelievable. Can we just go back to the power ranking quickly?
Oh dear.
Oh god.
One.
You put so much faith in this power ranking.
We worked on it so hard. We spent an hour doing this last week, and people are like, throw it out the
Yeah,
window.
and we're currently going for almost 2 hours.
Okay,
Putting it
yeah,
out there.
we've got a lot to say. It's very important. Look at third place and look at fourth place, and then cast your mind back to the beginning of today's proceedings, where we were like, I think OG put themselves above 2CP based on their performances this week.
Yeah.
And then
No, we
let's
said
look
they
back at the
didn't shake
brackets.
up, they didn't
No,
break.
shut your mouth. Look back at the brackets. Peach, concentrate. Thank you. And then we want to put a 3 next to 2CP and a different number below 3 next to OG.
Yeah. I back
Do you
it.
understand? Do you understand my confusion here?
Okay, and you understand that it's a lot of games that are being played. You know, the mental boom and the way these teams play being fortified and the way they are.
Oh yeah, but I forgot if you scroll back, they're also on drugs about the previous games. Just scroll back one, Peach.
These are the 3 people who are trying to rate Evo versus
Straight, yeah, so you see
We're just sitting there fighting
Three-
like, no.
Yo, we back
3-1 versus Evo.
Look, Evo,
So let's-
we back them for two wins, and suddenly we're backing Evo to beat them. What?
Oh, go back to the first round, Peach, in the upper bracket.
Right, yeah.
Let's create a
upper
slightly
bracket.
different narrative, right? One that Defect and I believe is more believable. So let's pretend it's a 3-0 for Evo here, right?
3-0
Can you
for
scroll-
Evo.
Sorry, for OG. Yeah, I'm so boomed, guys.
losing.
Right? Then they go forward to face the Beastie Boys, and then they lose, right? And I think it's going to be close-ish. 3-1, let's say. They're riding high, and then they come and they slap Evo again. They've done nothing but win games and lose to one team until they reach this point. I think they're going to be riding high after dominating somebody they once considered rivals. And 2CP coming off a 3-1, I also say that would be a 3-0. I think these teams are both going to come in pretty hot. And if they look at 80k like a gimme for 80k, take what you get out of that match and really focus on the Odyssey game. Both these teams are going to be riding high. And I think when confidence is behind them, I think OG just looks so much better.
Look, can we look at the results for last weekend? What was the first game we cast against 2CP? Who did they play against?
TSG teamers.
TSG, and they lost the map.
They lost a map, yeah.
And then who did OG
Yeah.
play against? Okay,
OG
Odyssey.
played against Odyssey.
Odyssey, sorry.
Odyssey, and they clapped them back to like plat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, look,
And then?
I don't think. I think OG are looking better.
I mean,
think
if we're,
OG
if
only
we're
thing
going
much
by our
better.
own power rankings, then that comparison doesn't make sense.
Actually, that comparison's out the window. Listen, y'all want to do this power rankings
Sorry.
bullshit? Stop fucking around. You gotta do it. You wanna do it right. I'm tired of this bullshit, dog. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I feel
lord.
like
I think with the roster changes 2CP have made, if we're talking about teams coming in hot, with the roster changes 2CP have made, if they're coming in hot, I think they look stronger. If
There you
2CP
go.
don't come in with good mental, they look weaker. It's
Exactly.
keep in
like
mind
that.
this is the
Like,
first match
way
of Sunday.
weaker.
This is the first match of Sunday. The rest
Oh,
of
fair
yesterday
point,
has
yeah. Fair
gone
point.
kind of. So it's not like they're gonna be strained on
And that
playing
makes a
matches. They're
big
gonna
difference
be
because
they're gonna be
Lagris
rested.
can debrief with the team and pre-brief
Work
them
his
coming into the
magic.
next one.
Yeah.
Can
Kind of
VOD
set
review.
them on the right. Yeah, exactly. Set
Exactly.
them on the right path. But OG's got a pretty hardcore coach. I won't make any leaks happen here, but they're gonna come
It's
in
public, I'm
super
pretty sure.
hot and prepped as well. Hello? What?
I think OG's coach is public knowledge. I
Who?
think.
No, we don't know. It's not. We don't know.
I
It's
don't
a secret
know.
apparently, and I don't.
I mean,
know.
he's
we
literally
know.
publicly in their Discord, so
We know.
Okay,
Everyone knows. I know.
It's open secret, but let's not.
It's still a secret, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to make any leaks happen. So, both these teams have pretty strong leadership figures outside of the team. That's going to make a big difference. And I think all things being equal, when you smash these two teams together on the day, I think OG just looks strong.
It looks more coordinated. It looks more polished.
I think it's gonna be
I
a map
agree.
5. That's all. Like
Yeah.
I honestly see it being
Yeah.
3-2 either way, and that depends on how
Yeah.
much prep gets put in coming up to this match.
I like it.
I mean, if we're
That's a
talking
good
about this
take.
being a meta where the tanks don't matter that much and we look at the DPS, I think we look at Aquatic Silencio versus the DPS of OG, and I think we'd say Aquatic Silencio look better.
Then Antiabo's Slumpy.
I don't think the Anti-Ambro Slubby is. I agree that they look better, but I don't think it's like tiers of difference. I think Anti-Diablo and Quadic are quite close, and then Slumpy, I haven't seen enough of him, but I don't know if he's on Silentius level, but he's also quite high. Like I put him in the same like Aquatic tier. He's
I mean,
quite
Silencio literally just hit GM again.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're talking SR, then there's literally a
Yeah.
GM DPS there ready to click some heads.
Isn't one of OG's also DPS? SR is also quite high. If we're doing that comparison again.
Hear the shake in his
Is
voice as he
GM.
starts to doubt himself.
Is it
He's on the line.
Somebody, what is
Slipping out
Antiabo
of
and
his
Slumpy's SR? I don't know. I don't keep track of this garbage.
Clown. This is clown shit, dog.
I
Yo,
think
Jesus.
I think we have to go 3-2 2CP here just because democracy is a bitch again.
I agree.
Look, I'll say 3-1
Canvas
OG.
three times.
I'll officially say 3-1 OG, but
I agree with you
God.
completely. 3-1 OG. I'm hot for this team, dog. They showed me something. They
yeah,
you know,
no, they opened my eyes.
if ATK Beastie Boys Hanamura took my belief away, OG's performance gave it back. Proved to me that there is a greater power. It's not true. I don't believe this.
Yeah,
But anyways,
yeah.
there is a greater power out there that is shining his light upon us.
If you take an X-ray of my heart, you'll just see like still images of Zoom and Anti driving in together onto.
Well,
onto Fluffy.
that doesn't say anything about bias whatsoever, does it?
No, not
What do you want from me in this?
Okay, I am unbiased.
Sucking
Yeah.
the cock of this OG. To stop it now. It's
I have every reason not to like OG and to not like 2CP and to like them and not like them and vice versa. But I mean, I just look at and I'm not the analyst, I'm the play-by-play. So my brain, like I said earlier, is quite smooth. And I just go with which number is bigger. That's why the SR argument
I'm
is
the
so,
backup production. I don't know shit about Jack.
yeah. But so maybe we're not the best. Maybe we should trust the
Maybe we
analyst.
should try
But-
on those guys.
Maybe.
And both of us are retired
The three
and
color
washed up.
casters, you know, the three
To
color
be fair, I'm
casters.
also
Yeah,
retired.
maybe.
I think everyone
All
with Peach is
three
retired.
colored
watch that.
casters.
But here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in OG.
OG showed me the light when they were playing.
Yeah,
They looked
I agree.
so clean. And,
I mean,
and
just
2CP were playing against sort of a similar started opponent.
We're putting down 3-2 OG, right?
Yeah.
We can't
Just-
change. You guys have
just-
outplayed.
We said we're putting down 3-2 CP now.
Sorry,
Now we
2CP.
did it.
I made a mistake. I mean 2CP.
Hectic.
Just listen, send me the bank receipt so I can see what OG's been paying y'all to say some bullshit that is coming out.
Oh
your mouth
no,
right
bro!
now.
You don't want to be depressed.
My
You don't want
God,
to see what
man.
my like absolute 0 transactions in recent months. Anyway,
I just got a promotion. I'm ready.
yeah, shut your damn mouth.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. 2CP, 3-2 against OG. Question marks, but this is the split. This is the first real split we've had. Okay.
I at this point, I can no longer stand by this bracket. I don't think this bracket is accurate at all. At this point,
you
there's
don't
so
have
many,
a choice.
like the three of them just simping so hard for Evo and just like, but there's 7 and 7 is my lucky number. Like, no.
This is our $100,000 bracket. This is the bracket that we all have to stand
Yeah.
by, whether we like it or not.
No,
So.
I recuse myself. I'm
2CP, Beastie Boys. I mean, I look at this matchup and I think OG Beastie Boys would have been closer.
yes.
Do we not? You guys think 2CP? Let's hear an argument
against it.
from Blur here. 2CP versus Beastie Boys. Does 2CP stand any kind of chance?
Well, if we're looking at 2CP, at what Beastie Boys will be playing for, they'll be very much looking. If we looked at their historic playstyle, they're looking to isolate people and take the 1v1s with them. You know, they're very much looking to play a solo game and play a game that allows them to isolate individual members of the enemy team. And I think holistically, 2CP look a stronger team player for player than OG do against Beastie Boys. You know, you look at the players that are going up. You're looking at Silencio going up against Amito. You're looking at Aquatic going up against Not, Stalker going up against Visions, Vertigo going up against Severin, and then the 2 supports. And if you look at anyone except, like, you know, you're possibly looking at Severin as possibly the strongest off tank in the country. I think everyone else 2CP looks stronger.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Stalker up against Visions is kind of a shit. God
Yeah.
damn.
Like, I can't get a good read on Visions' main tank because it hasn't been a role
We haven't
that
seen him
plays a
play.
lot.
I can because I played against him in my ranked games where it's like, you know, woo.
What does that
Damn.
mean? You're not using words. Say the words.
He said, "Woo!" It's a word.
Woo.
Hey,
On the
give it.
map,
Can you-
Like
can you-
good or
can you-
bad? Woo
can you
can
give me-
mean woo.
That's
Yeah. Can you give me one Twitch emote to describe it?
Hot Pocket.
I don't speak Twitch. Somebody please translate. I still don't know if that's good or bad.
But like, no, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I put my bank in Stalker's back pocket any day of the week up against, Vision's Omega Lol tank. So, I think that's actually the better emote. I think it's just the Omega Lol. I think that's it. It's just, yeah.
Okay. That's down to my Twitch language understanding. So you guys, sorry. So Miru, what's your prediction there? Numbers.
Fuck, man, it's so rough actually. Like,
It's hard.
yeah, this one is for me is like the actually seemingly, yeah, I think tougher almost than the OG one. For me at least. Just because like I feel like if Severin just is just like a monster and like can shut down Stalker, because like I know for a fact Visions isn't gonna do it. Visions is there as a square shield man or just bubble putting down man. That's it. You know? So for me, I think it's if Severin is just nasty with it, you know, then it's gonna be kind of clean. It's gonna be like a 3-1 or if not a 3-0. But if 2CB you know pulls out the big guns, then it could go to a 3-2, maybe, or a 3-1. But yeah,
The
I want to get everyone
$100,000
else first
question.
before I make my final decision.
Okay.
That's where I'm swinging. But, yeah.
Peach.
I feel like this is gonna be another one of those map 5 situations. Like I know I've said that
I
a
do
lot.
just
I've said
predict
that a
map
lot.
fives. Unless it's on the fence.
Again, I've done it so much, but I feel like Beastie Boy, and it comes down to that same argument again. Beastie Boys mechanically raw much better above 2CP. Even okay, not all of them. Not okay. No, maybe not much. Maybe not much. Maybe not much. Yeah, actually.
Not much.
Okay.
your
Actually, no,
guns.
hold on. I'm starting
Have you
to.
have you
Come on, go
plugged
back
plugged
down.
the SR into the formula yet?
Shut up!
Oh my god.
Look, I think Beastie Boys is definitely in contention for being, is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. For being for winning this
Contention
match.
is a word.
It is a word. Okay, thank you for that. I just, it's such a tough one, and I really feel like 2CP will come out on top, but they will win with a really, really tough fight behind them. That is my prediction.
You think 2CP will win?
I think 2CP
dozed
will
off for
win.
a second there. 2CP will win.
I think 2CP will win. Like I've got faith.
No,
I've got faith.
I don't see it.
I've
no
got faith.
I don't. Here's the thing, right? I don't not like 2CP. I don't think 2CP are bad. I
Definitely
just
not.
think that you can't bank on 2CP winning this match. Let's put it that way. I think if you're making predictions and you want to be reasonable, you have to look at Beastie Boys as the team historically that's been the better team almost throughout the history of these two teams. So for me, it's not a question of. I mean, it's always a question of what Beastie Boys is going to show up, and we won't know until we watch them play in the upper bracket match.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, just based on the relative strength of the team, based on historical head-to-head information, of course, you can't put any money just based on that. But just for some context, while I speak to Phil, while I click the buttons, that will bring up my information. Who are we talking about? 2CP and the Beastie Boys. Something, Blur, I don't know if you remember, and Peach, I think you were there. We were chatting with Zen once. I won't leak anything critical here, but she feels quite confident against the Beastie Boys, which surprised me, given that results-wise, the Beastie Boys are 3-1 over 2CP, and the most recent match was a 3-0 win to Beastie Boys.
Is it 3-1? Haven't 2CP never beaten Beastie Boys?
No, it's 3-1. I'm looking at the numbers right
Okay.
now. They beat them in season 1 when Beastie Boys kind of fell apart at the beginning, at the end of season 1.
Okay.
When they had to move like Visions onto main tank. And all that.
Yeah, Wrath left, or Lavius, whoever it was, secret identity revealed. So yeah, they were really struggling. And they lost to OG as well in that period.
Yeah. Look,
but-
the Beastie Boys is a team with a lot of drama and internal conflicts. So
Which is finally for a meme team. You'd feel like the pressure's
it's just having a bunch of egos in the same team. You know, a bunch of people who want to go pro on different teams and roles and
Yeah,
stuff and
true.
practice. Tends to happen,
And
and they're all young.
okay, we have to come up with something here. I think again, me and Defect. I don't know what's going on
Yeah, look,
in Cape Town today, but
I'll.
Wait, I'm here too.
say
Max?
you
Yeah, but-
you have lost your Cape Town.
live in the northern suburbs or something.
No, I don't.
Table view.
Watch it.
Table view.
You-
As far
Look,
as I'm concerned, it's the northern
Yeah,
suburbs.
no, it is. It is.
I don't think 2CP even have the chops to get into this bracket, so 3-0.
Oh yeah,
Beastie
we're
Boys.
arguing like 3 points back here still.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me numbers here, Miru. You've had your chance to hear out your colleagues.
I don't know. I think BC Boys will probably still come out in top. I think it'll be a 3-2. Still, I want to put faith into TCP as I have before, but I think, like, yeah, they get rolled. I think.
So 3-0 Beastie Boys or 3-2.
No.
did you say?
Oh man, I didn't say 3-0.
Sorry,
3-0,
I'm just
no. So it's-
transposing
yeah, I
my
think-
own
I-
projections onto this conversation.
Yeah. I think that's on you. Putting it on me. No, I'll keep it at 3-2. I'll say
Okay,
3-2.
3-2. Blur, give me a number, a pair of numbers.
I'm gonna give it a 3-2 as well. I think it's gonna be
2CP.
really close. I will give it to the Beastie Boys for now, but I think 2CP come in. They're looking a lot stronger as a team than what we saw from them at the end of the last leg. They've had time to prepare. They've had an extra 2 weeks from Team Mist now to go and get better at this. I think settling into a new team, new roster, I think they could come in looking very strong. And, it would be a comeback story for them if they ended up getting to the finals. But I think even getting to,
God, that would be a nice storyline, eh?
Yeah, it would be a nice storyline, but I think here would represent success for them considering where they have been. And I think this will be their biggest test of the tournament.
Okay, we'll have to see how they perform. Peach, a number? I think you've given one already, but
I've already given one already. I'm gonna go with my second hot take. Maybe third.
Sorry,
don't
can
know.
I just point out something? Aquatic.
Yeah?
Northern suburbs is not Cape Town. That's like people calling Pretoria and Johannesburg the same.
They are the same.
Yeah, I
Northern
agree with
Suburbs
the
is
second part
literally
of that.
Cape Town.
Exactly.
Victoria Joe.
I agree with what he's saying and disagree with the comparison that he made.
The northern suburbs are part of Cape Town.
All the Western
Victoria
Cape.
Joe.
Disagree.
Hell
That's
no.
an X to doubt from me.
As a hell no.
Yeah.
Fuck the northern suburbs. Fuck y'all that are-
These are the southern suburbs, boys, all trying to
Exactly.
remove ourselves from the northern suburbs.
It's everyone who can't fucking speak Afrikaans. We're just like, oh no, the northern suburbs, they're not Tite.
Listen,
They're
it's
not-
not about
they're
that.
not-
It's
It's
I
not
can even
about
put on an
that.
Afrikaans accent to support
not
that.
about that.
Meneer van Rooyen.
It's just, I ain't about that near bus,
I've-
man. Me bus, man.
I've
No.
I've
You can
worked
see
here.
the people of darker complexion have a particular
Hey,
opinion
let's
here.
get it. Fuck 'em.
Oh,
Look, as a Buriki, I've worked in the northern suburbs. I've worked and lived in the southern suburbs. They're basically the same. Just,
No, listen. Okay, defect. We need it.
Okay, let's-
I'm gonna throw it back to you guys right now. Okay, you guys need to listen to this. We, right, when we were going out, defect, was it the team Bri that we went out
yeah,
to?
no, it was
Yeah.
it was a team, bro.
So we pull up at whose place was it in the northern suburbs?
It's Vistra. He's an Osu player.
Yeah.
Someone might know him on the community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Came through, right? So we
keep
pull
it
up there. I'm
PG,
in the
wherever the
passenger
story
seat.
is going.
No.
Yeah, right. I'm in the passenger seat. Now we're in the northern suburbs, right? Now, this homie's family, his redneck, I don't know, cousin fucking people come out of the
It's one
front
of those.
door.
I don't know. It's one of those houses where there's just like 7 like different people like renting
There's
together.
seven
roommates.
Afrikaans men
Yeah.
coming out there. Yeah, they pull up in there, like in Afrikaans. They come to my window. They don't come to Defect's window, who's clearly driving. They come to me and they're like, what are we doing here? What am I doing here? You know? I'm like, damn, bro, you know? Oh my God, man. Like, you'll never catch that in the southern suburbs. Point is.
Okay.
Point in fact.
Anyway.
So,
Yeah, no.
2TP and Beastie Boys, guys. How about that?
3-0 Beastie Boys.
yeah.
I think it'll be a 3-1 Beastie Boys. We're all on a kind of 3x to Beastie Boys here, but
Except
just
for me.
differences of
I can
kind.
see a 3-1. I can see 2CP clutching it out. The DPS matchup is close. The support matchup I think slightly favors 2CP. And I think the supports have a big impact. Like the thing is, the only thing that makes me give a caveat is, look, Tox and who is their Wallace is their starting DPS.
Thompson's laid.
Zayde, sorry.
The other
and-
relative show.
The other Lady Lucio.
It's very
I
odd to keep
think
track.
the Anna is like landing the anti-nades here is going to be the key to shutting them down. And look, I know Tox and Zayde both have like pretty decent Annas, especially Zayde, but it's not legendary tier. Like it's not the hero he's known for. It's not like Fluffy, or a squishy level of Anna player that you really know will consistently land sleeps and aids. Like it's the other hero that he's known for.
Pac-Man tier.
Pac-Man tier. So yeah, no, I definitely think it's going to with that said, 2CP had the potential to take a map or two and maybe even upset it. I don't think Beastie Boys are as powerful as we thought back previously, but I still think they're favored, and I think the odds are more in favor of Beastie Boys for the predictions. I think it's not impossible that it'll be upset or even I think it might even be a very close game, but I think a 2CP win will count as upset.
Yeah, I don't think we can disagree with that. TCP wins, it will be an upset. With how much of an upset is what we disagree on. But I think we're all favoring Beastie Boys here. Are we happy with a 3-1 Beastie Boys then, as a
I'm
compromise?
happy.
Yeah.
No, I know you happy. I'm talking to the people.
Who was just
Fuck it, put it in.
snorting.
Yeah.
that big-
3-1 to Beastie Boys here.
Fuck it in. And then at Sunday at 3 p.m. when I'm gonna get DHL'd my nuggies from the vet, we'll be chatting different chats. But yeah.
I'm excited to see this OG Evo situation is the one I'm looking forward
I
to.
can't. I don't know.
Me
Can
and
you-
Blair on the panel. I swear.
And can you
to
give me
God.
more columns on the right, please?
Oh, am I the only one who has control over that?
I mean, that's too far for me. I can't. Actually, I can kind of.
You can do it.
I can kind of. do
Sorry.
it.
Have a column.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I went somewhere. I shouldn't.
No. What have you done, Peach? What have you
Okay.
done?
Relax, everything.
You've broken
So,
everything.
Here are our grand finals as decided by the hashtag Overwatch by ATK broadcast team. ATK taking on Beastie Boys. What number are you putting there, Blur? It can
That's
only
a
be
four.
one. No, the one you're looking at right now.
The one I'm looking at right now. There's no. I think there's gonna be a 4-0 ATKO
Yeah,
insane.
put a zero, fat zero there. Any arguments against that?
No, I don't think. I don't think it's much close.
The race is for second. This is
I
a
agree.
race. It's a 25k prize pool. ATKO
I mean, if you
second
go
goes
back to
up that.
the power rankings, we put the name there very specifically of what the tier was called.
Champions Elect. Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
about sums up our feelings on ATK.
Well, weren't they called the Force and CD champion?
Can someone? You guys know that meme where Obama puts the medal on Obama? Can we just can we Photoshop Warren's face onto both, please?
Oh god, that is so good.
Oh, I've actually got one for that. It can be Ali, and there's a very specific edited photo of Ali that could be the other one.
Perfect. Can't wait.
So yeah,
Little
that
Xander photo, if anyone knows.
I don't really think we need to spend any time talking about that matchup again. We did cover it in the winners bracket finals,
I'm
and
tired.
nothing
It's
has
been
really
2
changed.
hours.
I also think if we
Yeah.
spend more time talking, Mirror and Defect are going to start fighting. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's gonna be-
no,
seriously.
mild
friend.
domestic in our,
God.
a mild domestic in our
No,
chat.
that's cool. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it will be what it will be, and I'ma catch you.
It is
outside
what
your
it is.
apartment. I'ma catch
Lady,
you outside your
I'm
apartment
waiting.
with the bag of nuggies, and we're gonna sit, hug it out, and we're gonna share some
No,
nuggies
I get
together.
it. Oh yeah, it's
The
gonna be great.
only things we have question marks about is this match right here, and this result right here. I think
Yeah.
these are the only major ones where there was big
For
disagreement.
sure.
No, I think the big disagreement is also for the team missed Evo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
I don't think that.
So basically, like we said when we were doing the power rankings, that the entire middle bracket or anything, you know, sort of from
Yeah, third till
It's a
seventh.
lawless
It's gonna be-
wasteland.
Exactly, and Blow is right when he said it. Like,
Mm.
it's gonna be fucking wild. Like, it is gonna be nuts tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I really think the narrative's going to build throughout the day, though. Once we start seeing how these teams are settling in, how they're playing,
yeah,
it's going to be all over the place.
no,
Yeah, now that we have a bracket to follow as well, it's going to be easier to kind of build that
Is
now.
there a way we can get this bracket onto the sort of
Yeah,
base
we've got-
or onto production so we can?
Oh,
like, show
you
it?
mean this prediction bracket?
The prediction?
Yeah, Pete, you have to keep the font as well for
bracket?
the.
No.
Not happening. Sorry.
Look at his face! Look at his face!
If it wasn't 10 o'clock or the day before, maybe we could make something happen.
You have like 2 hours and then you need to go to bed.
doing it. Ain't happening.
All right.
So yeah, that's about that. I think otherwise we're all pretty much solidly in agreement with how this plays out. No question marks around any of these teams for the most part. The fascinating matchup is going to be around the third, fourth place. A little bit of a question around fifth, sixth, and seventh, eighth. And then just to let you guys know, I saw somebody asking in the chat. They figured it out themselves. Fifth, sixth is the same. Seventh, eighth is the same. That's why they're separated like this. So it doesn't matter what order they are, top to bottom. Risen did not finish better than Vanguard, if in this prediction bracket. They all finished the same.
It's just a
You guys
can
can individually organize playoffs amongst yourselves and tell us the results.
Yeah, you can
Feel
do
free.
that.
Oh, well,
Feel free.
I'll come cast them as well, but if you do it only next weekend.
So that is our top four there. ATK Beastie Boys, 2CP. Odyssey, 5th, 6th alongside Evo Esports. Overclocked Esports, 7th, 8th alongside TSGT. Most question marks around that, but we're going to have to see how that plays out.
That's
and
just
then we
based
can-
on where they get knocked off at though. Like, and that's all based on who they play up against and in what order. Because, for
But,
example, if
the only
if Overclocked
significant
went up
change
against
I
GCP
foresee
first,
is
then-
around TSG and Evo. And that's
Yeah.
going to affect OG.
And I think everything from
TSG.
7th down doesn't really matter from here. Like, from looking at these
No, for
predictions.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, these are. I would argue that 9th through 16th is almost locked in.
Yeah.
Some team is going to have to show some really, really strong performance, and I hope they do. We always want upsets. That the storylines are created around that. But based on the relative power rankings and what we think of these teams, 9th through 16th, should be pretty much in stone. So that's about that, guys. Any last words from you guys? Let's start with Peach, I guess.
I don't have any last words other than I've enjoyed predicting that half of the games are going to go to map 5s, especially the ones of my own.
Yeah. This guy. I mean, I can't argue with that. I want to see map 5s, but
Exactly.
anyways.
Like,
Can I
who
have a
doesn't
question in
want to
here?
see- Oh,
Go
dear.
for it.
Head questions.
How comfortable is the fence, Peach?
The fence.
The fence that you keep sitting on.
Fence that you're sitting on.
I mean, it's not.
Even with his own team, he put himself.
Yeah, he's like,
No, okay, no. But let's be real. I'm being
we might
I'm
be
being
doomed, guys. We might be
realistic.
crumbling, but we might win still.
I'm being realistic, as well as being optimistic.
I get where you're coming from.
Like,
And
yeah.
you also don't want to put yourself in a situation where you get 3-2'd by Risen again. After predicting very confidently that you'll
Don't
overcome
remind
that.
me. Don't remind
Anyways,
me.
Miru, before we hear from you again tomorrow as part of the casting duo alongside Altruism, any last thoughts?
No, I think it's all. I think it's all been laid out. I think Defect and I are going to be exchanging words quite closely.
I'll be sure I'm going to leave your mic muted on production like all.
No, that's
Yeah, he's got the ultimate control.
yeah. No. But I
Last
think-
on Twitter, Mira, I believe.
Yeah, to all that, it's gonna be some good games. I'm really excited to see the teams go up and bring it all
Yeah.
because this is where it counts. Like all that shit last weekend is past now. Like changes have come through.
New
things
patch.
have changed. Yeah, shit has changed drastically, and y'all best be ready to bring the shit now. Like I need to see it. I know it's doing no goddamn C9s. I am none of that bullshit this weekend. Because when it comes to analysis, and I'm with Altruism, I'm gonna be like, listen, fuck that. I'm walking out because I'm not here to analyze like dog shit play and brainless plays. Like I'm not for that right now. So make it worth my while.
Can you
make it
guys
worth your
see
own while.
Mira's hairline receding as he talks?
Yeah, but like slowly, it's just like, like
every time I say the words SR, it just
oh my god, man.
Oh my god.
No, but
Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Okay.
bring the thunder,
Blur.
boys.
Oh, sorry, Mir.
Yeah.
Blur,
Yeah.
last thoughts from you. We're going to hear a lot from you tomorrow on the panel. But any thoughts to sign off our predictions here?
I think we're gonna have a very interesting bracket coming up this weekend. I think that a lot of these is gonna be very very dependent on how the teams are like holding up mental. Like I think the strength won't matter if the teams just can't play as a team.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be just a big one for the weekend in general. Is if they start falling apart, they are like if someone starts falling apart, doesn't matter how high your SR is, you're gonna lose.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Mr. SR, my brother in arms, my fellow OG Stan, my fellow TSG Stan.
I like we're the only ones who watched the OG game.
Oh my god, bruh. You don't even. But again, we're washed up, retired, not even analysts. So
Well, no, I didn't get a casting job. I had to ask for this one. Yeah, look. The only thing I can add is when we sign off, can we all please look to the left so we look like Blur's picture?
other left.
That's why. That's why.
I need to look to my right. Yeah.
I also need to look to my right with the mirror. All right, that's what I got. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had fun. I hope we didn't flame your teams too hard or put you in too high esteem, perhaps, so it was a bit misplaced. We love you, 2CP. We love you, OG. No hard feelings there. We just have to pick one over the other, and we had different opinions on that. And if you guys, again, as always, if you disagree with where we put you, prove us wrong. That is the ultimate goal here. You guys know where to find us online. I'm not going to get you guys to put your socials just because I don't have the energy. You can follow Zere Overwatch at Zere Overwatch on Twitter. Follow this Twitch. But most importantly, tune in tomorrow. We're starting bright and early at 8:25-ish, 8:20-ish with our pre-show and then our pre-match. And then we'll get our first match started at 9 a.m. Bright and early, it's going to be Evo versus OG. We're going to get some questions answered right off the bat there, I think, as far as it's concerned. And some lines in the sand will be really figured out. But yeah, tune in tomorrow, guys. That'll be on the ATK Twitch, assuming nothing goes wrong. If you can't find it there, check on the ATK YouTube. And if you can't find it there, checking on the Educate Twitter, they'll point you in the right direction. So guys, please, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a good evening.